A very good afternoon to you and a warm welcome back to the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in Edinburgh for session 5 of the Scottish National Short Course Open Swimming Championships. So we had some super swimming this morning. We've got the additional heats going this afternoon. Chance for swimmers to push their way through into a final this evening and to improve on their entry times as well. Busy programme for you. You can see there what is coming up. I'm Duncan McKinnell, and once again I'm joined in the commentary box by Lynn Alderton. Good afternoon, Lynn.
Hello. Hello, good to be back. It doesn't seem to be that long since we were here this morning, but no, I'm looking forward to the same events for this afternoon and hopefully some fast ones.
Yep, so as I said, that's what's coming up. 200 IM, 200 free, 100 fly, 100 breaststroke. Our 50s, our freestyle for the females and backstroke for male and open. Then we go back to 200s, 200 breast for the females, 200 butterfly for male and open, 100 backstroke, 100 IM, and then we go to female 400 freestyle, and we finish off the afternoon with all but the fastest heat of the male and open 1500 meters freestyle. So we'll have 3 heats of 1500 to finish us off this afternoon, so that'll be fun. Around about, well, best part of an hour's distance swimming to enjoy at the end of the session, but lots to happen before that. Highlights from this morning, Lynn?
Well, for me, it was George Smith's 100 breaststroke, and I know that that's not necessarily the highlight of the highlight, but for me, it was. I thought that was a really exciting swim. Matt Ward in the 200 metres backstroke. It wasn't the 200 metres backstroke today, was it? It was the 100. But the 200 freestyle as well. That's an exciting prospect of a race. I've only mentioned the men. The women's 100 breaststroke, 100 fly rather. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so some weird stuff. But here we've got some of our youngsters, including in this first heat, one from your home patch, Aphrodite's Grace Taylor, just 12 years old. She'll be going up against 2 15-year-olds in this first heat. So you saw the line up there. So it's Grace Taylor of Aphrodite in lane 3, Jessica Whittle of Newcastle in 4, and Rebecca Reid of Warrender in lane 5. So up and down the east coast. Well, Aphrod's fairly inland, I suppose, but Aberdeenshire, it counts as east coast almost.
Well, you could say that. We're kind of halfway between the mountains and the sea, I guess. I mean, Aberdeenshire's huge.
Yeah.
And in fact, the catchment area for Aft Academy, which is where Aphrodite's trains, is an enormous catchment area. Although Grace not that far away from the school, a bit out towards the sea, towards Aberdeen. But so 200 metres individual medley first up. We had some really good strong swimming on this morning, didn't we? So it'll be interesting to see how the next group of swimmers get on.
Yes, it will. So there you can see the 3 of them all lined up ready to go as the starter sets them off. So 2:31.5, all 3 of them just 400s on paper between them. And of course, as you would expect, you'll see some differences in the strengths across the 4 strokes as we go. Looks like it is Rebecca Reid who's got the early advantage on the butterfly, up by a metre or so over the Newcastle swimmer Jessica Whittle. So she is going to lead them through the 50. 30.44. Rebecca Reid, a finalist in East District age groups in this pool, in fact, last March. But coming at her now on the backstroke is the Newcastle swimmer Jessica Whittle. And not far behind them, the youngster Grace Taylor. In fact, not far behind them at all as they go through the turn. Just, well, on the toes now of our new leader, Jessica Whittle. So going to be competitive here. We'll see what happens on the breaststroke, but Jessica Whittle now has the advantage by about a metre.
Yeah, it's a tough gig, I think, coming straight off your lunch to come and swim in this one in the first heat, and especially with just the 3 swimmers as well. Grace, when she first started coming through, a very strong fly swimmer, but over the longer distances. But Jessica Whittle from Newcastle out in front. Like I said, the 2 15-year-old swimmers, but Grace now doesn't have any weak strokes. And you can't afford to on the individual medley. I mean, we used to say about how important the breaststroke leg is, and it is, but you can't afford to be weak on any of the others either. And Jessica Whittle has pulled out a good advantage for herself just coming in towards the final changeover onto the freestyle. So 152.26, that was a lap of 44.08, so a really strong breaststroke from Jessica Whittle.
Yeah, that's put her in a very commanding position here. Grace Taylor has moved up into second place, and well, she is going pretty strongly on this final 53. See whether she can make some ground on Jessica, who turns for home now with a lead of about 3 meters, so she won't be caught, but Grace Taylor is pushing hard. Hopefully they both get inside their 2:31 entry time. Certainly Jessica is going to take a big chunk off that, 2:27.24, so that's a 4-second improvement. Grace 2:28.89, so she improves as well by 3 seconds. And Rebecca in third, 2:30.86. A nice way to start, 3 best times.
Yep, great result there. I think it's like I say, first heat of the afternoon. It sets the tone, hopefully, for the rest of it. But yeah, I'm sure they'll be delighted with those times. I mean, obviously I'm aware of what Grace does. I'm not necessarily aware at all of what Jessica and Rebecca do. Although the names are familiar, but I know that Grace has actually swum quite a lot of 200 metres individual medleys, and I know that she has gone faster than her entry time, but she has not gone under 2:30 before, so that's great.
So the second heat lineup is up there for you, and we have Molly Irvin-Watson for Dumfries in lane 1, Molly Scott of Derwentside and Gateshead in 2, Gabriella Winton of Montefieth in 3, Libby Hadlington of Royal Wolverhampton School in 4, Josie Grimes of Warren de Baths in 5, Beth Craik of Aberdeen in 6, Pip Brotherton of South Tyneside in 7, and Millie Coe from the Borough of Stockton in lane 8. So 2:13.9 up to 2:31.4. So they'll need a PB from these swimmers if they're going to match Jessica Whittle's time. Good start. Lanes 5 and 6. That's Josie Grimes in the red and Beth Craik in the white. Also up at the top of your screen, Molly Irvin-Watson and Molly Scott, all pretty close as well. In fact, it is Molly, the two Mollys, first and second. 31.63 and 31.79, not as fast as the first heat at the end of the fly. Of course, it was Rebecca Reed that was leading early on in that first heat.
It's quite interesting. Some of these swimmers have swum this morning, recognising certainly some of the names as having done that. And I guess that's an advantage, is that you do get to spread your swims out. Whereas we saw like Evie Mackey this morning swimming 3 swims. There was others swimming 3 or 4 swims, all of them in the morning. But if you want to try some of your different events in the afternoon, you can potentially get them spread out just a little bit more. Give yourself the chance to swim some best times as we come towards the close of the season. Of course, it's not quite the end of the season, is it? You've got the team championships next weekend.
Yep, that's for the Scottish teams anyway. I think probably this is the last meet of the year for the swimmers from the northeast of England, but I don't know that. Tell us if we're wrong. But still, it is one of their number, Derwentside and Gateshead swimmer Molly Scott, holding onto the lead, although lane 6 is going nicely. That's Beth Craik of Aberdeen, and a number of others as well. Lane 8 is Millie Coe from Stockton, and she's in second place now behind Molly Scott, just 14 hundredths between them. 1:54.03, so still not as fast as Jessica Whittle. Just shows what a quality set of swims we had in that first heat. But Molly Scott, a time of 2:31.20 is her entry time. She'll be looking to improve on that, but she's got her hands full to deal with the others here, and in particular I think Pip Brotherton now moving up in lane 7. Who's going to get the touch? Molly in 2, Pip in 7. The touch goes to Molly by a couple of tenths, 2:28.74, so that is inside her entry time by about 2.5 seconds. So she'll be happy, I think, with that. Second was Pip Brotherton, very fast finish from her, getting past Molly Irvin-Watson, who takes third, 2:29.05. So again, a good number of improvements on entry times there.
Yeah, it was that quality breaststroke, I think, from Jessica Whittle that really moved her on through. And not that surprising to see that it was faster at the 150 mark. But not quite holding on the freestyle, but that was a good competitive freestyle leg in that race, and it's not surprising that some of them were brought on to best times. Heat number 3 then, in lane 1, Matilda Wilson from Morpeth. Millie Rivers goes in 2 for Durham. In 3, Abby Crabe, University of Aberdeen. In lane 4, Annie Falkus from Morpeth. In lane 5, Jessica Smith, University of Aberdeen. In 6, Erin Jones, Newcastle. In 7, Grace Brown, Newcastle. And in lane 8, Ali Boksoli Sola from Ren 96. There's quite a few teams from Newcastle. I wonder where they all train out of. Have they got a big pool in Newcastle?
There is a good sized pool, I think, yes, in the centre of Newcastle. The Newcastle swim team certainly train from. I don't know about aquajets. Of course, there's the Sunderland pool, which is a very fine pool in the northeast, but early leader here in lane 2, so in fact no swim in lane 1, so it is Millie Rivers in lane 2 who's got the advantage here halfway through the backstroke. But up with her in lane 7 is Grace Brown, so it is Morpeth versus Newcastle. Pretty close together teams, and they're going to turn just about together. I think it might be the Newcastle swimmer just getting the touch. It is Grace getting at 1:08.89. Still not as fast as Jessica Whittle's halfway split from heat number 1. But that might change in the breaststroke. Let's see how they go. Moving up in lane 3 is Abby Crabe. So she's having a go in the breaststroke. But Millie Rivers, I think, back into the lead now in lane 2. So she had the lead at the end of the butterfly, and looks like halfway through the breaststroke she's got it back. And this is looking like a 3-way contest here as we come up to the 150.
Yeah, so 1:52.26 we saw after Jessica Whittle's breaststroke leg, but that was particularly strong, and it's not going to be as fast as that. But we know that they can go faster on the 50-free, 1:52.91. There for Millie Rivers. Out in front, Abby Crabe alongside her and closest to her as well.
So this is going to be a good contest down the final 25. So still Millie Rivers turning in the lead, but there's still 3 involved in this one. And Abby Crabe is pushing hard in lane 3. Maybe is just going to come and get this one. So she's timed her attack very nicely indeed, and in the end takes it by a body length, 2:27.98. So that's a nice swim from Abby. That's again nicely inside her inch time by a couple of seconds, but still not as fast as Jessica Whittle. So terrific stuff still, but PBs, plenty of them around. Millie Rivers there, 2:29.62, so she's at 7/10 or so inside her entry. Grace Brown as well improves on her time, 2:29.82.
So on to heat number 4 then. No cyclically seeded heats this afternoon because they were this morning. In lane 1 we see Ava Smith for Geary. Lane 2, Kayla Smith, City of Glasgow. In lane 3, Ksenia Mann from Mingers Hill. Lane 4, Alice Ward, Borough Stockton. In 5, Faye Rogers, Edinburgh University. In lane 6 it's Gemma Brown, Phoenix Aquatics. In lane 7, Kaylee Moulton, Ren 96. And in lane 8, Molly Weir goes for Heart of Midlothian. In fact, no swimmer in lane 3. So the rest of the swimmers contesting it out there in the pool. In lane 5, just ahead perhaps.
So we saw a fantastic 400 free from Faye Rogers this morning, and she is going very strongly. Of course, fly is one of her big strengths, and so no surprise perhaps to see the SM10 para swimmer leading them after the butterfly, 30.37. She is the Scottish record holder. That stands at 2:28.53 in the SM10 category, so we'll keep an eye on that. She certainly was on record-breaking form this morning. Behind her in lane 4 is Alice Ward, on the other side Gemma Brown, but it is Faye up by about a body length at halfway. Recently moved down from Aberdeen to join the University of Edinburgh squad, doing a postgraduate degree I think in Edinburgh, and she's just starting. and she's up by about a second from Alice Ward, and looking to hold that in the breaststroke, although Alice is looking pretty tidy on breaststroke as well in lane 4. 2:28.50. Faye was silver medalist in the World Para Championships, finalist in the Paralympic Games in Paris last year as well, and she is still up by a body length here. Coming up to the 150, turns 151.36, and that now is our fastest 150 split. So let's see what she can do on the freestyle to finish this off. As I mentioned, 2:28.53 is the Scottish record.
Well, I think she's going to be inside that one, Duncan.
It's also the British record. So this is looking good here. Way inside it, 2:24.94. So Faye continuing.
So 2:24.94 for Faye Rogers, a new British record for the SM10 category. They're not quite fast enough to make it through to the one of the finals this evening. In fact, there's a whole host of swimmers that are on 2:24, but faster than Faye's. But even so, cracking swim there. Alice Ward, good second place, 2:25.7 for her. And on to our final heat of the 200 metres individual medley this afternoon. In lane 1, Katie Aitchison goes for Warren de Bath's club. Charlie Hoare from Warren de Bath's club in lane 2. Lisa McNair, Sterling Swim in 3. Abby Whitfield, Derwentside and Gateshead in lane 4. Sophia Sugden, City of Manchester Aquatics goes in 5. Katie Coventry in 6 for Morpeth. In lane 7, Darcy Jackson, Tadcaster, and Amelia Burrell from Glenrothes goes in late lane 8. So this is the final heat of the 200 medley.
Just going back to that Faye Rogers time, we had this debate this morning on whether it would count for European records, but it was faster than the European record by 3/10. So 2:24.53, another remarkable swim. 2:24.94,
I had a chat with some para officials, because there's no recognition of para swimming in our meet conditions, and it should be in there if it's going to be counted. But I think we agreed that it wouldn't be in the spirit not to for a swimmer with a classification like Faye's. So I think it would be submitted. Whether or not it would be accepted or not, we don't know. But there's nothing in our meet conditions about para swimming. But Faye swimming in SM10, well, certainly in the freestyle, we wouldn't expect there to be any adjustments needed. So we shall have to wait and see on that one. But certainly faster than the European record. So halfway mark there, and touching first, Katie Aitchison, 1:08.04. Very fast backstroke there, 36.5 seconds. Her split matched only by Lisa McNair. But, still in front. Moving through now in lane 7. Perhaps Darcy Jackson also going well. But, Katie Coventry and Katie Aitchison probably still between those two as we move down towards the final changeover of stroke. Katie Aitchison perhaps on the breaststroke. I don't know if you can see a better angle than I can there, Duncan. Still Katie Coventry, 1:50.55, and in fact it was a second and 3/4 and a very fast breaststroke from Katie Coventry.
2:24.17 is currently 16th place in this 200 IM. I think this could be pretty close to that. I think Rogers wasn't a million miles away from that. Still, it is Katie Coventry and Katie Aitchison, 1 and 2. But it's going to be the Morpeth swimmer, I think, bringing this one home. Oh, is it? It's going to be close in the end. In the end, just going away from that time to get a second swim, but a good quality swim. Just 1300 since Katie Aitchison, who just got the touch in the end. Both of them nicely inside their entry times, so we'll be happy enough with that. Katie entered 2:28, a recent time done at the East District Open, so she takes 3 seconds off that. Katie Coventry 2:25.52, so that's a 2-second improvement for her. Darcy Jackson in third.
I think it goes to show as well what a strong freestyle leg it was that Faye Rogers had at the end of that 200 metres individual medley, that she was still faster at the end. So no competition pushing through into the finals, which will be a relief, I'm sure, for the swimmers that came into the top 16 from this morning, but nobody beating those times from this afternoon's swim as we move on to our next event, which is the male and open 200 metres freestyle. We have 5 heats again of this one. Carol Lexader from City of Sunderland goes in lane 2. In lane 3, Adam Meikle from Tynemouth. In lane 4, Lockie Bullough from Shetland. In 5, Benjamin Thomas, Borough Stockton. Lane 6, Lewis Gibson, City of Glasgow. And in lane 7, Ben Towood from Tynemouth. They're between 3 and 4 at the moment. Adam Meikle and Lockie Bullough. Lockie just turning over first there, 26.94. So that's a pretty sharpish first 50 there from Lockie.
Yep, proudly wearing the Shetland flag on his cap there, and just with the edge over Adam Meikle. So 15-year-old from Shetland, 16-year-old from Tynemouth. Lockie just building his lead nicely now. There's other side of him, we've got Benjamin Thomas and Lewis Gibson not far away, but through halfway, 57.28, so just over the 30 for his second 50. All these swimmers entered on 2:00, so they'll all be wanting to have a time that starts with a 1 here when this is done. Lockie at the moment the most likely to achieve that. He's still up by 3/4 of a body length, still looking very strong as we come up to the 150, 128.40, so a 31. If he can do that again, that would be under the 2 minutes. Well, easier said than done, because he will be feeling it at this stage. 25 to go. He's still holding off a 3-way contest for second behind him. Adam Meikle, Carol Lexander, and in lane 6, Lewis Gibson, all battling away, but it is Lockie. He's going to take this. He was never really challenged. 1:59.05. Job done. Well done, Lockie.
Yeah, so Lockie, another swimmer that we saw competing up at the Island Games, representing Shetland there, is a talented athlete, not just swimming, but a good performance there to get under that 2-minute mark. Always a good barrier to break. 1:59.05 for Lockie. Adam Meikle 2:00.13 and 2:00.35 in third. Heat number 2. In lane 1 we have Finn Proud from Newcastle. In lane 2, Gannon Robertson, University of Stirling. In 3, Cameron O'Donnell, South Lanarkshire. In 4, Panos Angelakis, University of Aberdeen. In 5, Sam Wright goes for Tadcaster. In lane 6, Sebastian Culver from Hackney Anacondas, is it? And in 7, James Aberdeen from University of Aberdeen Performance. And in lane 8, Cameron Taylor, University of Stirling. So a mix of swimmers that have just been under the 2 and are just outside the 2 in this heat. So 1:59.05 the time to beat. None of them on paper have been faster than that, so they'll be vying for that one. 26.9, about the same time as we saw, just 4/100ths faster than the time we saw from Lockie in the previous one, and it's James Aberdeen.
He's a swimmer who's been in good form recently. Has come on very strongly. Swimmer based in the University of Aberdeen, so Aberdeen from Aberdeen. And he has the advantage by about a metre maybe. 56.39. That is a good strong second 50 under the 30. 29.49. 3 swimmers there ducking under their 30 for their second 50. So James in the white cap there in lane 7. Not far back from him is the Hackney swimmer Sebastian Culver. And then in lane 4 it's Panos Angelakis, another from the University of Aberdeen. So that's your top 3 as we come up to the 150, led by James Aberdeen, 1:26.55, this time just over the 30 seconds. But, well, on that 150 split, you'd fancy him to knock some time off his entry time.
Yeah, I love the way that he's trying new events now, and I think that comes with the move, because he was originally in Bankery and predominantly, although not exclusively, a breaststroker, but this is a really nice freestyle that he's putting on this afternoon. He is starting to tire and he is starting to get caught. Is he going to? Oh, he is going to get caught. What a shame. Really hard, good effort there from James Aberdeen, but that is an improved time for him. 1:58.24 though, the time from Sam Wright, who just pips him to the post. Cameron O'Donnell finishing in third.
Yeah, really fast final 50 from Sam there, 29.5 for his back end to take the win by a couple of tenths. 1:58.24 on a 1:59.36 entry time, so good, nice improvement of a bit over a second. So that is heat 2 done and dusted. On to heat 3. You'll line up there. Fergus Curry in lane 1 for Glasgow University. 2 is Christian Matheson of Newcastle swim team. Stuart Thompson of Perth City in 3. Finch Geary of Steprock in 4. Austin McPherson of Geary in 5. Robert Christian of Aquajets Newcastle in 6. Alex Cantley, University of Aberdeen in 7. And Jay Diddy of Tynemouth in lane 8. 1:58 to low 1:59's the times here.
Well, it's a pretty close one. I think maybe lane 3 just out in front at the moment. Stuart Thompson, Perth City, the red caps we've spoken about before. It's not compulsory, but we do send to see them, don't we? Stuart Thompson first to the wall there, 27.17, so not quite as fast as we saw in the previous 2 heats. I guess it'll all depend on the pacing, but he has got his nose out in front there in lane 3. Stuart Thompson still.
Yes, of course, James Aberdeen went out very fast in that previous heat and then couldn't quite finish the job on that final 50. So let's see what the pacing's like on this one. Stuart Thompson, though, still just edging it, but not by much. 57.19 is about 8 tenths down on heat number 2. But very, very tight there. You can see 57.1, 57.2, 57.2, 57.3, the top 4. And now just edging into the lead is the Steprock swimmer, Finch Geary. And that was a lovely turn from Finch there. Suddenly he's a metre up. Steprock based in St Andrews in Fife. And, well, let's see what he does on this turn, because he really got an advantage on the previous turn. And, well, he's done it again there. 1:26.76. So he'll be now looking for a strong finish, a 29.4 there, over a second faster than anybody else on that third 50.
Yeah, good quality discipline off the wall there, getting the fly strokes in and keeping his head down for the first couple of strokes and just pushing on through there towards the finish. And he is going to take this one. I think Stuart will be in second place. But yeah, that was a good swim there from Finch Geary, from Steprock. 1:55.98. As you say, the first 100 wasn't as fast as we saw in the previous heat, but he really brought it home there in the end, 1:55.9.
Yeah, impressive swim from Finch. Steprock have a good renowned reputation for open water swimmer, and Finch Geary, they're getting it done on 200 free in the pool. Heat number 4 is next up, and there they line up is for you. Taylor Horseman for Tadcaster in 1, Manu Drysdale in lane 2 for Edinburgh University, Jasper Broom of South Ayrshire in 3, Callum Mackenzie of Perth City in 4, Fergus Woodward of Perth City, of Portobello rather, in 5, Tyler Spalding of Carnegie in 6, Alex Clark of Dulwich College Singapore in 7, and Aaron McGee, City of Sunderland in 8. So they're clearing the pool here, so there must be some wee issue. Oh, somebody was into the pool, maybe retrieving a cap, I think. And you can see over in lane 8 at the top of your screen, somebody just got in to fish it out and out again. Hopefully that will allow us to move on. So these swimmers entered 1:57s and 1:58s. So we saw that 1:55 from Finch, so let's see whether anybody can raise their game to match that. Need to get down to 1:52 for a second swim, so that's a big ask for these swimmers. Tough when there's just the 2 finals. So away they go. Good start in lane 5. That's Portobello's Fergus Woodward. but plenty of others. Maybe lane 6 now. Tyler Spalding is just edging it in the dark cap of Carnegie, the Dunfermline-based team. 26.61, that's half a second faster than the previous heat. Tyler, Youth Academy member, bronze medalist at the Scottish Summer Meet and silver at East District age groups. But this is going to be a competitive one, I think, Lynn.
Yes, he's got a long lollopy stroke, hasn't he? But I think the two swimmers in the two favoured golden lanes are just moving through there. I was looking there to see that Jasper Broom was the winner at the summer meet, where Tyler Spalding was the bronze medalist, and they're not actually in the same age group. One's 15, Jasper Broom is 15, and Tyler Spalding 16. Perhaps Jasper, oh my goodness, I was going to say perhaps Jasper just coming through, but a whole host are just coming through there.
Yeah, we've got 5 of them all in contention here. Manu Drysdale going well up in lane 2. And there you can see in lane 6, just below the yellow lanes, that is Tyler Spalding, the early leader. And it's Tyler back in the lead now, but only by 600ths. 126.75 is 100th of a second faster than Finch Geary's split. But Tyler just opening up the gap a bit now, so he has the lead. Manu Drysdale not far from him though. He's not out of this in lane 2, and others putting in a good turn, including in lane 4 is Callum McKenzie of Perth, and he's finishing strongly. Is it going to be Tyler though bringing it in? It's going to be tight, but it gets the touch. So 2 Fife wins in a row, 157.45. That doesn't match that excellent time from Finch Geary, but a good swim nonetheless, inside his entry time by just over half a second.
Goes to show what a strong final 50 Finch Geary had, doesn't it? Because I mean, he managed to pull out an extra second and a half, over nothing being different really at the 150 mark. But not to take anything away from Tyler Spalding, excellent swim from him. On to the final heat then. Nebby Sengula for Highland Swim Team in lane 1, Alex Holmes, Glenn Rotherson 2. Jed Armitage, also from Highland Swim Team, in lane 3. Sandy Brown in lane 4 for Anik Dolphins. In 5, James Lauder, Heart of Midlothian. In 6, James Gillies, City of Glasgow. 7, Lewis Maxwell Powells from Warren de Bath Club. And in lane 8, it's Taylor Sinclair from the University of Aberdeen. City of Glasgow hat, I think, just out there in front. Got to see, but that was a strong start there. James Gillies, and he really has taken it out, hasn't he? James Lauder actually not in the pool, and so nobody in lane 5, and that extra bit of clear water there for James Gillies is working very nicely. Nebby Sengula, Alex Holmes going well over on the swim down poolside. But James Gillies, City of Glasgow, 17-year-old swimmer, comes in on an entry time of 157.2, and he's looking good there. So 6th in the North District Open, 5th at Scottish Schools. God, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Still in front, but lane 2 just moving through there, I think. Alex Holmes from Glen Rothes, and over here on the near side, Taylor Sinclair, University of Aberdeen. I think that he was an Elgin swimmer, so fairly recently to University of Aberdeen. It's obviously working well for him. So still the City of Glasgow swimmer, James Gillies, out in front, 127.04. Not as fast as we've seen from several of the previous heats. And I think he is being caught now by lane 3. Jed Armitage really had a strong 25 there, the penultimate one. Jed Armitage now just taking up the mantle alongside him. I think Alex Holmes from Glen Rothes, and they're just moving past James Gillies, who led for that first 150, coming into the fin. Oh, that was close. Alex Holmes just got the touch, 156.99. 5 100ths ahead of Jed Armitage in second, and James Gillies 157.85 for him in third place.
So more improvements on entry times there. Alex was 4/10 inside his. Jed Armitage 157.04. He improved by 100th. It all counts. James Gillies there just fading a bit, and that final 50 takes third 157.85. So half the distance now, move to Butterfly. And the females, we have 7 heats. There's your lineup for the first of them. Alana Wilson, Bells Hill, Libby Hadlington, Royal Wolverhampton School, Cara Broadley, Phoenix Aquatics, Rosie Grayson of Chesterley Street, Amber Niven of Carnegie, Jessica Bell, Borough of Stockton, Rebecca Mailing of Bells Hill Sharks, and Katie Coventry from Morpeth. Katie Coventry has already swum the 200 IM, so quickly back into the water here.
Yeah, we saw a few swimmers double up on this one this morning, and I think I saw that there were swimmers who managed to swim in the 200 IM this morning, and they're in the 100 fly this afternoon, so interesting stuff. And it's, well, pretty close. Lane 4.
Yep, so lane 4 is Rosie Grayson in the white cap for Chesterley Street. 4th in the Northeast short course age groups, 13-year-old, and she turns 31.04, so a strong start from her, up by a quarter of a second on Katie Coventry, and then another 4/10 to 3rd place. Let's see if she can hold this. And Katie in lane 8 is probably her main threat. In fact, maybe has gone past her here. Also coming up now in lane 6 is Borough of Stockton's Jessica Bell. So it's going to be between these 3. With lane 7, Rebecca Mailing trying to get in on the act, but I think it's going to be Katie Coventry from lane 8. And she takes it in 1:07.30. So good double from Katie there. So another improvement on her inch time by about a second, after a good 200 IM earlier. Looks a bit puffing and blowing there at the end, but, well, not surprising. That was a fast swim. Rosie Grayson 2nd, Jessica Bell 3rd.
Yeah, it just goes to show how important it is to get that lane. Katie actually the slowest person that managed to get into this event, and she is winning that first heat, so good on you. Right, so on to heat 2 then. Emily Taylor goes in lane 1 for South Lanarkshire. In lane 2, Matilda Smith, City of Sunderland. In 3, Molly Scott, Derwentside and Gateshead. In lane 4, Isla Marshall from RTW Monson. In lane 5, Emily Dickens, University of Aberdeen. In 6, Guy Petrie from Monifeith. In 7, Charlie Hoare from Warrington Baths Club. And in lane 8, Lula Milne, City of Glasgow. Taking it out, Isla Marshall from the Royal Wolverhampton Monson. It's Royal Tunbridge Wells, isn't it? RTW, Royal Tunbridge Wells.
Yes, it is.
And, well, that was a fast 50, 30.62 for Isla.
Yeah, 4/10 faster than the previous heat, and certainly it is Isla Marshall from Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson who has got the advantage here. 19-year-old, so more experienced swimmer than most of them. Oldest in the pool. Let's see what she can come back on. 1:07.7 her entry time. Going well in lane 8 is the City of Glasgow 14-year-old Lula Milne. There you can see it closest to the camera. And she's going to get 2nd, I think, but it is Isla taking the win, 1:06.55, so knocks a 2nd and a bit off her entry time.
Yeah, so 3 finals of this event. So actually, I mean, the slowest time currently, so the time that's got to be beaten in order to qualify for one of the finals this evening is a very achievable looking 1:04.52. 1:06.55 though, the fastest so far from this afternoon's heats. And we move on to heat number 3. Alison Wood for University of Aberdeen in lane 1, Rebecca Reid, Warrington Bath Club in lane 2, Ruby Robinson, Tadcaster in lane 3, Eva Gordon, City of Glasgow in lane 4. In 6, Amelia Morris goes for Derwentside and Gateshead, Iona Rike Ayala for Aberdeen Dolphins in 7, and Mariana Patrick from Stirling Swim in lane 8. Lane 6, perhaps, although it's very close now. Lane 3, that's Ruby Robinson. In 6, it's Amelia Morris, sandwiched between them, Eva Gordon from City of Glasgow. I think just lane 6 touching first. Amelia Morris, 30.97. It's not quite as fast as we saw in the previous heat, but not a lot in it. Rebecca Reid, well, there's nothing to choose between them. Rebecca Reid perhaps just edging through. I think she's going to touch first. Going well in 8 now. That's Mariana Patrick from Sterling Swim. So it could anything to choose between the 4 swimmers. Rebecca Reed, I think, just in front. In the red cap over there in lane 2. She just gets that one. 106.75.
Good call there, Lynn. I wasn't at all confident that you got that right, but yeah, you came through. Got spotted the winner. You remember she was
have to do it sometimes.
in that 200 IM, and she was in that first heat, and she was
Very
leading
good.
after the 50 fly. And you can see it's really skillful butterfly swimmer there. So 106.75 there for Rebecca, and that is 8/10 inside her entry time.
Yes, timing it really well there at the finish. Amelia Morris did have to settle for second, but she was less than a 10th behind. And we move on to heat number 4. So in heat 4, in lane 1, we have Lucy Hall, East Lothian. In 2, Millie Barton, Bells Hill. Lane 3, Abby Coventry from Morpeth. In lane 4, Gemma Brown, Phoenix Aquatics. In 5, Jennifer Smith, Borough Stockton. In 6, Heidi Carr, Newcastle. In lane 7, Ella Smith, Borough Stockton. And in lane 8, it's Kira Gregg, and she represents Fauldhouse here. So nice start there in lane 3 from Abby Coventry. Abby Coventry is the youngest swimmer in the pool. She's 14, 107.2 her entry time. In lane 7, Ella Smith from Stockton, also going well. But still Abby Coventry, I think, just going to touch there first. Abby Coventry 31.18, so not as fast as the previous 2 heats, but all to play for through the second 50. Coming through nicely in lane 8. That's Kira Gregg from Fauldhouse. Abby Coventry, I think, still just maybe.
Yep, just remember her sister has won the first heat, so there'll be a little bit of Coventry competition here. 107.30 was Katie's time. Let's see how Abby's relates to that. Entry time 107.20. Is she going to get inside that? Is she going to get the win? Yes, she is. In both counts, 107.13. So just edges a few hundredths off her entry time. Lucy Hall with a strong finish, taking second, 107.43 for her. And third place, Kira Gregg, 107.49.
So interesting. Those first heats were very fast indeed, weren't they? We haven't seen a huge significant improvement on that through these second, third and fourth heat. So on to heat number 5. In heat 5 we've got Sophie Steele in 1 for University of Aberdeen, Emma Burrell in 2 for Mid Lothian, in 3 Charlotte Judson, Durham City, in lane 4 Elizabeth Annis, Pershaw, in lane 5 Amy Rowell from City of Glasgow, in lane 6 Tiffany Latham, Royal Wolverhampton, in 7 Sophia Sugden, City of Manchester, and in lane 8 Emily Forster goes for City of Sunderland, another 14-year-old. It's the 2 swimmers in the centre lanes though at the moment, Elizabeth Annis in 4 and Amy Rowell in lane 5.
Well, there's a whole host of swimmers really. Amy Rowell just getting the touch, 31.15. But plenty of competition here, so Amy going in lane 5, just edging it, but coming up now in lane 3 is Charlotte Judson of Durham City. So can she challenge? Well, 4 of them all very much together at the 75 term. But, well, lanes 3, 5 and 6, I think the main contenders, Charlotte Judson, Amy Rowell, Tiffany Latham. Who's going to get the touch between the 3 of them? I think it might be lane 3. Also fast finish from Sophie Steele in lane 1. She comes up to take second, but it's Charlotte Judson, 106.21. That's the fastest time we've seen so far, and Charlotte taking about a third of a second off her entry time. Sophie second, Tiffany third, and Amy also in the 106s. Very competitive race, that one. 6 is up on the board for you. Heat 6. Darcy Jackson, Tag Caster in 1. Erin Jones in lane 2 for Newcastle. Anna Dunlop of Dumfries in 3. 4 is Katie Noble of Newcastle. 5 Charlotte Craig of Ren 96. 6 Freya Keeling of Carnegie, India Leonie Bryden of Mingus Hill in 7, Amy Dobson, City of Glasgow, in lane 8. So the entry times here, we've got one swimmer with entry time just under the 106, and that's up to 106.5. So Lynn mentioned earlier, 104.5 is what's required to get another swim tonight. So this would need a couple of second improvement from these guys. Turning first, and pretty impressive Freya Keeling, 30.93 is the fastest halfway split we've seen. Freya from Carnegie, 4th in national age groups, 2nd in East District age groups, and she is she holding that advantage just from lane 4. Katie Noble is maybe coming back at her here. I think it's going to be between the two of them. Is Katie Noble going to nick it down this final length? It's going to be close between the two of them. Let's see, I think it will be Katie Noble just getting the touch. It is 106.05 for her. Just a little bit faster than the previous heat. And just outside her entry time. Freya Keeling 106.45. And third place Darcy Jackson 107.28.
Yes, so having said that, 104.5 looked quite achievable actually there. Although everybody's swimming well, it's still looking a fair way ahead, isn't it? But we've got our final heat now of the 100 metres butterfly, and in lane 1 we have Katie Maloney from City of Norwich in lane 2, Nadine Wilson, Borough Stockton in lane 3, Tamenji Edamiti from University of Aberdeen in lane 4, Alice Ward, Borough Stockton. Lane 5, Ellen Denny, Geary. In lane 6, Kayreen Kelly, Forth Valley. In lane 7, Catherine Boddy, University of Aberdeen. And in lane 8, Katie Aitchison from Warren de Bath's club. And this, I think, will be another hotly contested heat. So we got the pink hat. You know, I used to love those pink hats from Dundee City Aquatics because they were the only ones that had pink, but now we have Forth Valley wearing pink caps as well, and actually I do love them. I think that's great, but she's going really well, Kayreen Kelly, 30 years of age this year and representing Forth Valley and looking like the quality fly swimmer that we know that she is. Just ahead of Ellen Denny in second. So Ellen perhaps stronger over the 200, but putting in a fairly mean 100 as well. Kayreen Kelly is going to have to hang on there because Ellen Denny will be coming strong at the finish. But Kayreen Kelly is right from the start. 103.47. Well, that is well inside the time that she needed to swim in order to get a second swim. And Ellen Denny too with 104.
Yep, so both of them will get swims. 103.47 in fact is tied for 17th. So if there is a withdrawal from one of the A or B final, then we could be in a swim-off territory for a place in the B final. But
I'd like to think that they'd opt for a toss of the coin if that was the case, but maybe not. I don't know.
Who knows? But anyway, great swims from those two. So they will progress through, Kayreen and Ellen. So we said it was achievable. We will tend that it was achievable. Well done. 100 breaststroke now is the male and open event, and we have 6 heats here. And in the first heat we have James Hendon of Tadcaster in lane 2, Kai Connolly, University of Aberdeen in 3, Hayden Pritchard of Geary in 4, second Tadcaster swimmer Thomas Gibbons in 5, Lewis Bray for Inverclyde in 6, and the para swimmer Ollie Carter, SB10 University of Stirling swimmer, in lane number 7.
Well, this one looks pretty close, certainly between lanes 5 and 6. Thomas Gibbons and Lewis Bray. 109 high are all of the entry times. And lane 6 it is just now. Lewis Bray, Inverclyde swimmer, 15 years of age. So not quite as strong off the turn, but he's a fast swimmer there in the white cap. Going well now in 2 as well, James Hendon from Tadcaster. Between these 3, James, Thomas and Lewis. So I think Lewis still just edging it. Inverclyde swimmer, like I say 109.95 his entry time, and he's got a good strong swim, going well in 3. Kai Connolly, haven't mentioned him yet, University of Aberdeen, but it's the swimmer in lane 6. Lewis Bray gets that one, 1:08.75, so over a second improvement for him. James Hendon in second place and Kai Connolly in third.
Ollie Carter then, the para swim home, entered 1:19, so smashed that, 1:15 for him. So nice swim, Ollie. 1:08.75, Lewis Bray taking the win there in a nice improvement of over a second.
So on to heat number 2 then, as the swimmers on the screen. Arthur Blacklaws goes in lane 1 for City of Leicester. Finley Brown in lane 2, East Lothian in 3. Hamish Coates from Morpeth. Lane 4, Luca Hall. Borough Stockton in 5, Arthur Miller, Midlothian. Chesterley Streets, Jamie McCormick goes in lane 6. In lane 7, Tearlach Adam from Perth City. And in lane 8, Samuel Cool, another swimmer from Step Rock. Entry times range from 1:09 and a half out to 1:09.8, so nothing in it at all on the entries for the swimmers. And it looks as though it's the swimmers in the outside lanes just getting the best at the moment. Lane 8 touching first, 38.01. Lane 1 touching second, 32.17. Arthur Miller sandwiched between the two in third place just now. There's still the outside lanes smoking it out there in 1 and 8. 8 closest to us on the spectator side. Samuel Cool going best. Step Rock swimmer, age 17, 1:09.8 his entry time. Going well as well, City of Leicester, Arthur Blacklaws, still in 1 and 8. I think Arthur perhaps just coming through. Oh, just. Arthur Blacklaws, 1:08.72. Samuel Cool touching second, 1:08.85. And Arthur Miller is third home in the middle.
Just going back to that first heat, that time from Ollie Carter, 1:15.46. If my calculations are right, that is a new SB9 Scottish record for Ollie, so impressive for him, well done. But Arthur Blacklaw's taking that one, 1:08.72. As we move on to heat number 3, Finley Byrne for Forth Valley Tridents in lane 1, Rory Vick of Warren de Bass in 2, Ben Mathias of Darlington in 3, Luke Garrity, City of Glasgow in 4, 5 is Harry Douglas of Morpeth, 6 Cameron Jolly, University of Aberdeen, 7 Fraser van der Merlen of Phoenix Aquatics, and Jamie Farnan goes for the Southern Isle of Man in lane number 8. Just touching first at the 25 in the green cap, Ben Mathias of Darlington, but out of the turn there's plenty of others right beside him, particularly Luke Garrity of City of Glasgow in lane 4, who might just be edging it now as they come down to halfway. Let's see, does he get the touch? Yes, he does. 31.50, up by a tenth, half a second faster than the previous heat. Ben Mathias second, Harry Douglas third. Harry in the red and white of Morpeth. You get to know that cat very well this weekend, but this is looking good for the City of Glasgow swimmer. 18-year-old Luke Garrity is surely going to get this one. Luke, a finalist in the next Gem meet. And he's going to take this, let's see, as he comes in 1:06.57, so that's a big improvement on his entry time, about 1.8, so he'll be happy with that, I think. Nicely done. Second place, Harry Douglas, 1:08.05. Cameron Jolly taking third in 1:08.71.
Yeah, the time to get through to the one of the finals is almost exactly the same as it was for the female 100 fly. 1:04.52 is the time to beat. So still some way to go, but 1:06.57. Good swim there from Luke Garrity as we move on to heat number 4. Jacob Light from Morpeth goes in 1. Peter McGrother, Derwentside and Gateshead in lane 2. Tyler Spalding from Carnegie in lane 3. Representing Aberdeen, Aidan Bruce in lane 4. Alfie Bonser from Royal Wolverhampton in 5. James Ruston Birmingham University in lane 6, Tom Robinson in lane 7 from Alnwick Dolphins, and Roman Wallace in lane 8 from Borough of Barnsley. Entry times from a high 1.7 out to a low 1.08 for the boys and young men in this heat. And young opens. Lane 8 maybe, Roman Wallace, Borough of Barnsley, red cap. Oh, I don't know though. Looks as though he was edging it down the first length. Maybe still is. Also going well in lane 4, Aidan Bruce, Aberdeen swimmer. I think it is the swimmer over in lane... Oh, it's lane 1, isn't it? I'm looking at me lanes and ones and me 8s are mixed up again. So Jacob Light from Morpeth in lane 1.
Yep, Jacob Light, 17-year-old from Morpeth, just edging it now by a metre or so. Lane 2, Peter McGrother. Lane 3, Tyler Spalding. And lane 6 is James Rushton. They're all pretty close, particularly James Rushton now is looking quite strong down this final length. And he's, I think, putting in a challenge on Jacob Light now. I think it's between these two in red caps. Let's see as they come in. I think Jacob still, is he going to edge it? Yes, he is. 1:06.73, not quite as fast as the previous heat, but inside his entry time by a second and a half, so he'll be happy enough with that, you would think. Second place was James Rushton, 1:07.04, so that's an improvement of over a second as well. Peter McGrother, 1:07.69, also inside his entry time by around half a second. So we've seen the PBs. Let's see if we can get close to 1:04.52. There certainly is probably a bit more of an ask in these ones. They've got to take nearly 2 seconds off the fastest of these afternoon heats. But the lineup for the penultimate heat, the heat 5, is Carrick Thompson of Inverclyde, Jack Wallace, University of Aberdeen in 2, Jack Philpott of Derwentsside and Gateshead in 3, George Custer, Royal Wolverhampton School in 4, Miller Cunningham of Glenrothes in 5, Atanas Arinkov, Aberdeen Dolphin in 6, and 2 from the University of Aberdeen, James Aberdeen in 7, Alex Cantley in 8. And it's Atanas Arinkov who is taking this one out very hard here. This is a very good first 50 from him, 30.41. That's 7/10 faster than we have seen. So let's see if he can continue that sort of pace in the second half. Tanas Youth Academy member did his entry time in November at Aberdeen in the North District Open. Maybe they're coming back at him a little bit here, but he's still got a body length at the 3/4 turn. Coming closest to him in lane 5 is Glenrothes swimmer Miller Cunningham, but he's not going to catch Atanas. That's going to be the 1-2 as Atanas brings it in 1:05.46, so he'll be happy with that. That's an excellent time from Atanas. 2 seconds inside his entry time.
Oh, you didn't see that? He lifted his arms up and he was cheering. He was absolutely delighted with that. So I think that was brilliant. Atanas, very talented and very noticeable, very at a very young age, particularly over the 50 breaststroke and 50 fly as well. But strong on the hundreds as well. It's good to see. He was originally up on the northeast coast. In the Broch, but now moved in with Aberdeen Dolphin, and it looks as though it's paying dividends there. Onto our final heat then. Sorry.
So for the non-Aberdonians of us, you're going to have to explain the Broch.
Oh, right. Yeah, Fraserburgh, one of our northeast areas, but it is Broch. Is the club is called the Broch? Yeah.
So we've got a couple of empty lanes in this final heat in lanes 2 and 3. So we've got Tane Makahamadze in lane 1 for Tadcaster. William Morris goes in 4 for Borough Stockton. Beside him, Aidan Fothergill, Edinburgh University. Finlay Wonnacott in 6 for City of Manchester. 7 is Callum MacArthur of Mulgai and Besden, and Archie Smith in 8 for Aberdeen Dolphin. All very close at the halfway mark. Finlay Wonnacott just getting the touch in lane 6, but I'm not sure he's got the lead now. Going very nice. Tine in lane 1. Is he going to lead them through the 75? Difficult to tell from that shot on the screen as you come out. In fact, I think it's lane 4 and 5. William Morris and Aidan Fothergill, 1:06 and 1:02, 1:06.4 their entry times. And I think that will be the 1-2. the touch goes to lane 4, William Morris, 105.51, 105.58 for Aidan Fothergill. So both of them inside their entry times, and it was Finlay Wanacott taking third just by 300ths. Very tight there, 106.64, 106.67, 106.76, third, fourth and fifth.
Yeah, so Atanas ended up being the fastest breaststroker of the afternoon. But we move on now to the female 50 freestyle, and there are 6 heats of this. No, there are not. There are 5 heats of female 50 freestyle, and we've just got the 3 swimmers in this, our first heat. They haven't been led out yet, so I don't know if we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, but I can tell you that the 50 metres freestyle is up next.
It's a chance to draw a little bit of breath then as we wait for these 50 freestylers. So we had a couple of swimmers making it through for a second swim in the female 100 butterfly. Hopefully we can get some more. And we are just about ready to go now. Looks like we've only got the one swimmer here.
That's perhaps what the delay was for.
And that's going to be para swimmer Abby Kane, S13, partially sighted swimmer. So she's got to do this all on her own. Entry time for Abby, 29.36. She was the winner in the multi-classification final in the Summer Long Course Championships. I guess in a 50 free, it doesn't really matter whether you've got swimmers beside you or not. It's all about focusing on your own swim and just doing your thing up and down the pool. So let's see how close she can get to that 29.36. She's going to be there or thereabouts, just over it, 30.32. Abby, do you remember?
Backstroke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Commonwealth Games.
Commonwealth Games.
And
now at University of Stirling.
Yeah, has been there for a good while. From Ayrshire, I think. North Ayrshire, I think she originated in.
Yep, I think so.
Terrific swimmer over the years.
It doesn't seem right to have to swim it on your own, even so, but I guess if there's no space, I assume that's what they were with the delay was looking to see if it would be better for Abby to swim in the next heat, but that one is full. So in lane 1 we have Katie Palmer from Chesterley Street. Ali Boksali Sola from Ren 96 goes in lane 2. Erin Ferris, Cumbernauld 3. Gabriella Lessing, Ren 96 4. Lily Davidson, Chesterley Street 5. Jory Horn, University of Stirling in 6. Edinburgh University's Perry Scobby in 7, and Madison Stewart in 8, University of Aberdeen. They're going to have to read out not the lanes or not the swimmers.
Probably the swimmers.
Probably the swimmers. Let's leave the swimmers in there, right. So anyway, lane 4, good swim there. I'll have to not read out the swimmers. Gabriella Lessing, 27.72. Well done.
They're just 200ths away from her entry time there, so good solid swim from Gabriella. Madison Stewart second, Ali McSolly-Solar in third. So 27.72. 27.03 is the time, slowest time at the moment, 24th, so slowest in the C final. So we certainly could get closer or beat that maybe before we're done with these, 3 more 50 freestyle heats. Here, just looking up the line, they're all there. Kira Gregg, India, Leonie Bryden, Caitlin Morton, Eloise Herbert, Maya Loyne, Isabella Cohn, Lily Lava and Freya Tyndale. 27.5 to 27.7 the entry times here. We're starting in lane 2, India, Leonie Bryden, but now, lanes 4 and 6 up there as well. Eloise Herbert, Isabella Cohn. I think it's between these 3 as we come down the second lane. It's going to be really all about the finish now between the 3 of them. And as they come into the touch, so close. India Leone gets it, 27.32. So we're getting close now, just 3/10 away from a second swim. Eloise Herbert second, Isabella Cohn third. Yeah,
and still 2 heats to come. So getting closer and closer. Heat 4 now. Isla Gilmurray, In 1, Katie Noble. 2, Bronwyn Payne. 3, Brooke Stevenson. 4, Charlotte Judson in 5, Julie Salah in 6, Gina Wren in lane 7, and Hannah Lafferty goes in lane 8. And all the swimmers are present and correct on the block. Well, they're all present on the block. Hopefully they're all correct. That's not for us to judge. Lane 8, nice start there from Hannah Lafferty. Also going well in lane 3 and lane 5. So that's Bronwyn Payne and Charlotte Judson. Bronwyn Payne just moving on through there. Edinburgh University in lane 3, and that's a really strong swim from Bronwyn Payne, 27.28, so we are getting closer. Charlotte Judson in 2nd place, 27.37 for Charlotte. Hannah Lafferty 3rd place, 27.64.
Yeah, Bronwyn, a recent arrival at Edinburgh University from the borders, Kelso based up until the summer. Her dad was her coach in Kelso. But now to heat number 5, our final heat. And your line up there, just checking. Yes, they are all there. Eva Gordon, Sophie Steele, Heather Clubb, Connie Hart, Asma Lafala, Rose McDermott, Emmy Hutchison, Isabel Wood. 27.10 the fastest time, so just need to get down to a 27.0 for another swim. Let's see if any of these swimmers can do that. Good starts in the centre lanes, Connie and Asma, and also in lane 7, Emmy Hutchison of Lerwick, another one who swam in the Island Games for the Shetland team, and it looks like maybe it is Emmy who has just got the edge here, but coming up strongly now, Asma Lafala in lane 5. Is it going to be Asma? It's between the two of them. Emmy gets it. Well, look at that, 26.91, 26.94. They both make it into the C final, subject to confirmation of course, but so that's how it looks to us. So well done to both of them, and also ducking under the 27 seconds. That's a nice milestone as well. Emmy Hutchison, the fastest of them. So we'll hopefully see both Emmy and Asma again tonight. That's satisfying.
Yep, good to see. Good to see. So on to the male and open 50 metres backstroke. So this afternoon in the male and open 50 backstroke, we have got 5 heats. In this, our first one, Benjamin Palmer in 2, Tom Hill in 3, Kyle Mossman in 4, Jamie Hay in lane 5, Tineye Makadmetzi in lane 6, and Sam Downey in lane 7. And it's backstroke, so the backstroke ledges are coming out. Everything looks to be functioning properly. So we'll just wait for our referee and our starter to confirm that. So times in this heat, well, they're all around and about 28, apart from Sam Downey, who comes in as a para swimmer representing University of Stirling on an entry time of 32.4. So in this, our first heat, how close can the swimmers get to the time that is required for them to make a second swim? 26.73. That would be a big ask from this first heat, but they're going well. In lane 3, that's Tom Hill from Newcastle. Looks to just be edging it. He's beaten on the turn by lane 4, Kyle Mossman, City of Glasgow. And on the swim, he's moved back ahead though, Tom Hill. Tom Hill takes the first heat. 28.3, Kyle Mossman second, 28.65, and Tineye Makamatsi in 3rd place, 29.08. 4 more heats to come of this our 50 metres backstroke. That's the confirmed result there up on your screen. And in heat number 2, looks like all of the swimmers are present and waiting. Cameron O'Donnell goes in 1, Tom Longley goes in lane 2, Nathan Smith in lane 3, Harry Gibson in lane 4, Nebby Sengula goes in lane 5, Sam Hutchinson in 6, in lane 7 Daniel Morehouse, and in lane 8 Fraser Vass. So we've got a few northern swimmers there, 2 from Highland Swim Team, 1 from Orkney. And Fraser Vass For here on the spectator side, just 14. And first up was in lane 5. That was Nebby, but he wasn't ahead. It's Tom Longley from Copeland leading into the first touch at the wall. Being moved past now by in lane 3. That's Nathan Smith from Orkney. Nathan Smith from Orkney putting in a strong swim in lane 3, and I think he's going to take the second heat. 28-28 for Nathan Smith. Cameron O'Donnell in second. Fraser Vass, the 14-year-old from the Highland Swim team, touching third in lane 8.
Yeah, another very close one there. We'll just wait for the confirmed result to come up. There it is. Nathan Smith confirmed, the Orcadian swimmer. 28-28 down to 29.50. So that was heat number 2 done and dusted. Into heat 3. And looks like we are all 8 swimmers there. Alex Taylor, Alex Whittle, Callum McKenzie, Cameron Finlayson, Rory Hall, Rowan Brown, Calm Your Head, Logan Scally. And Cameron Finlayson now coaching at both Hearts and Edinburgh University, but showing that he's still, well, we were trying to show it, he can still get it done in the pool here in this 50 backstroke for Heart of Midlothian, 27-year-old, 28.10. 100th faster on paper than Rory Hall. So those two in the centre lanes here. And away they go. So 28.28 we saw in the previous heat, Nathan Smith. Good start in lane 2, Alex Whittle. Well, we've talked about him earlier, but Cameron Finlayson is moving up, and I think he will just be first to turn. Lane 7 is up there as well, Calm Your Head of Livingston. But it is Cameron Finlayson, I think. So when he's coaching, he can point to what he's done in the pool. And this is very good, 27.38. So that is a good bit faster than we've seen. Just doesn't quite get him into a second swim, but well inside, 7/10 inside his entry time. Calm Your Head taking second by 100th from Alex Whittle. Two more heats to go. So 27.7 the fastest in this one, then 27.4. So we need to get down to 26.7. It's not impossible, but it's an ask.
No, it's quite interesting as well, isn't it? The way that in the butterfly you see a lot of converted times, so the times that are entered on are entered in 0, but because of the advantage of the turn that you get in backstroke, you see very few converted times, so we tend to get much more genuine performances, if you know what I mean. Anyway, in lane 1 for this heat we have Sky Kabunchai, in 2 Zach Weatherhead, in lane 3 Hamish Maxwell, 4 Fergus Woodward, in 5 Lockie Bullow, in 6 Tom Robinson, in 7 Sam Livingston, and in lane 8 Lewis Kessel. And they look as though they're away safely. A nice start there in lane 7 from Sam Livingston, also going well in 1 Sky Kabunchai. I think Sky first to the wall, difficult to be sure. Sky there representing University of Aberdeen, and still in lane 7 going well, Sam Livingston from Morpeth, and Sam, well, he had the better of the second lengths there, 27.08. We are getting closer. Zach Weatherhead finishing second, 27.53.
Yeah, nice swim from Sam there, 27.08 on a 27.99 entry time, so 9/10 and a 50 is a big PB. So that Weatherhead second, Fergus Woodward third. It's all in the high-ish ranges of 27s, in line with their entry times, maybe slightly faster. Final heat goes. Charlie Foster, Fraser van der Merlen, Max Turnbull, Magnus Morris, Freddie Walker, Alexander Morton, Adam Prusik and Miller Cunningham. 27.4 to 27.6 times here, so 27.08 fastest so far from Sam.
Oh, I'm not sure I like somersaults into the pool. I mean, it's deep water, but hey ho. Yeah, so final heat then. Was there time to potentially move through? 26.73. That was the time set by Edward Bell this morning. Well, strong start in lane 8 from Miller Cunningham, the Glen Rothes swimmer. Going well in 4 now, Magnus Morris, University of Stirling. Well, Magnus Morris really that was a lot of underwater that he did, and it's really paid dividends there coming into the finish now. Well, it's going to be close, 26-24. So 26-24 sees him get a second swim this evening if he should choose to do that. 27-16 in second place for Alexander Morton, will not, and Max Turnbull third place, 27-28. Well done, Magnus Morris.
Yeah,
good swim there.
Massive improvement, 27.44 his entry time, so take that down by over a second there. Brilliant stuff. Well done, Magnus. University of Stirling swimmer, formerly, I think from memory, from Ren 96. So 200 breaststroke for our female swimmers is next to go. We have 4 heats here. So line up in the first of them. Jessica Powell in lane 2 for Elgin. 3 is Erin Faulkner of Belsill Sharks. Lane 4 I think is empty. 5 is Jenny Maguire of South Lanarkshire. 6 Lauren Cantley, University of Aberdeen Performance, and 7 Ella Hendon from Tadcaster. 250s to 251s the times here.
Yeah, so we commented, didn't we, this morning about how competitive this event was. And the time to beat is 2 minutes 40. So that's talking about a big ask. 2 minutes 50 the entry times into this heat, belonging to most of the swimmers here. They're around at about 250, but it is Lauren Cantley, University of Aberdeen, taking them out through the first 50, 37.68 after 50 metres. Another swimmer who originally came from Bankery, we spoke about James Aberdeen before. Lauren, a full transfer over to the University of Aberdeen. I think maybe about a year or so that she's been there. Seems to be suiting her well. 15 years of age and leading through the first 75. Kind of setting the pace for the swimmers this afternoon. Going well in lane 3, Erin Faulkner from Bells Hill, red cap.
Yeah, so she's in second place, but she's what, 1.5 meters or so behind leader Lauren Cantley at halfway mark, 1:20.72. So you can see a 43.0, and Erin Faulkner's split slightly faster there. You can see the intermediate splits on your screen as they go through the turns at the start end. And they're certainly coming at Lauren now. She still has the lead at the 125, but it's not as big as it was. But we'll be looking to sustain it. Jessica Powell not too far away, neither in lane 5 is Jenny Maguire. So those 3 behind the white cap Lauren Cantley, who, well, was talking her down a little bit. I shouldn't have been doing that because she is holding that lead, and once again there was the fastest intermediate split, so 2:04.80. So she is holding on to her time nicely and looking good for this one. A 3-way tussle for second now between Jessica, Erin and Jenny, but it is second that they are battling for. They're not going to catch Lauren. So Lauren, silver medalist at the Scottish Summer Meet back in July, 2:50 her entry time. That might be a conversion. Anyway, she's going to be inside this, 2:47.75, so good swim, Lauren, to nearly 2.5 seconds inside. That battle for second went Jenny Maguire's way, 2:50.7 for her, and Erin Faulkner just behind her, 2:50.97. 1, 2, 3 in the first heat, confirmed there.
Nicely done, I think, from Lauren. I don't think she eased off necessarily, but certainly there was swimmers that tried to make some inroads into her lead from the first half, and they did. But she held on really well and is rewarded with that good improvement on her time there, 2:47.75. So we move on to heat 2 then. In lane 1 we have Caitlin Allars, Tadcaster. Lane 2, Maya Stahl from Steprock. In lane 3, Abby Coventry back again from Morpeth. Lane 4, Leah Bullock from University of Aberdeen. In 5, Lula Milne, City of Glasgow. Lane 6, Beth Craik, Aberdeen. In 7, Olivia May Curran, Tadcaster. And in lane 8, Ailey McNichol, representing Glen Rothes. And it is the aforementioned Ailey McNichol, I think, who was the first to the wall after the first 25, but that's only an eighth of the way, isn't it?
So at the 50, it is Ailey, as you said, by 3/10, 37.22, but 4/10 faster than the first heat. And similar gap to second place Olivia May Curran. So the action at the bottom of your screen here, the black caps of Glen Rothes and Tadcaster. Don't often say those two names together, but the Glen Rothes swimmer, Ailey McNichol, 2:49.5 entry time. We're looking to sustain this lead. She's coming up to halfway. She has built it up quite nicely in this second 50. Although, well, as soon as I said that, it looked like possibly Olivia May starting to come back at her, but you see 41.8, 42.5, so at the moment it's still very much the Glen Rothes swimmer. And a good turn from her there as well. It's built up her lead to over a body length. Starting to make a move in lanes 3 and 5 are Abby Coventry and Lula Milne. So can either of them mount an attack in the second half? Or maybe it will be Olivia May in lane 7. She's still very much in the mix for second, but Ailey McNichol gradually building her lead here. So coming up to the 150, she's certainly the one who's got the best position.
I think Lula Milne can potentially threaten, although saying that, I'm looking at the splits there. 43.67 is about the same time as Ailey McNichol, and it's Abby Coventry, in fact, who turned in the fastest 50 for the third 50. I'm not sure she's going to get beaten though, Ailey McNichol. She has led it out very bravely in lane 8, and I mean her split wasn't that far behind Abby Coventry's, and I think she's swam a really strong race there, has Ailey McNichol. She's inside the final 10 metres now, and I don't think she's going to get caught, but Abby Coventry is giving it a good go, just coming into the final 5 now, and it is going to be Ailey McNichol, and I'm glad for her really, because that was a very strong swim. 2:46.86, Abby Coventry in second, 2:47.14, very close there at the end. Lula Milne in third place, 2:47.92. So some good improvements there from the first 3 swimmers. Ailey McNichol 2:46.86. That's very impressive.
Yeah, always nice to see a swimmer from the outside lane taking the win. Lula Milne finishing really strongly there, nearly caught Abby, but not quite. So on to heat number 3. And the lineup here, Neve Blackett of Newcastle, Ava Bremner from Morpeth, Millie Coe, Borough of Stockton, Matilda Hendon of Tadcaster, Emma Binney of Inverclyde, Marley Bow, City of Sunderland. 7 is Alana Wilson of Bells Hill, and lane 8, Megan Ferris of Commonwealth.
Yeah, there's been a few problems with some of the times coming from the blocks. Just the reaction times, because I've noticed there was one where we had a full set of swimmers, but there was only 7, and that time there was only 6.
So
anyway.
Good start there in lane 7. That's Alana Wilson of Bells Hill. Did her time at the South Ayrshire meet around about the springtime, I think that was, 36.79. So that's nearly half a second faster than the previous heat. So a good solid start here from Alana. She is 17-year-old. Distinctive Bells Hill Cup, and I think she's been caught here. Ava Bremner and Millie Coe up in lanes 2 and 3. I think have gone past her now, and it is Ava Morpeth, 16-year-old, now has the lead. 2:47.5 her inch time. Millie, a slightly faster inch time, 2:47.2, but at the moment it is Ava Bremner, the 16-year-old, and she is up by a body length at halfway on 18.17, so second faster than Ailey McNichol's split. 1:20.11 for Millie, 1:20.46 for Alana. That's your leading 3, but Well, it's hard to see past Ava Bremner at the moment. She is pulling away from the others up in lane 2, and certainly looking very confident at the moment as she turns and heads away towards the 150. Looks like Alana maybe has got herself back into second place here, ahead of Millie Coe. And then we've got a trio, 4 swimmers in fact behind her, all battling for 4th. But here is Ava Bremner, 2:00:41. That's 2 seconds now faster than Amy Nichols split. And around about a 42 and a bit split there. So looking at the time for Ava, 2:47 entry time. If she can hold her pacing here, she's going to be well inside that. Alana Wilson, she started strongly and she'll be looking to finish strongly as well. It's hard to see her catching Ava here, but certainly comfortably into second place. So that's going to be your 1-2. Still a bit of a tussle for third, but no doubt about the winner, Ava Bremner. Very nice swim, 2:42.44. She did hold her swim time very nicely on that final 50. And that's a big PB is her award, 5 seconds. So excellent stuff for Ava. Alana Wilson in second and Millie Coe in third.
Well, that wasn't even close at the end, was it? Ava Bremner, and it's not because others swam poorly. Ava Bremner really put the pace on there, didn't she? 2:42.44. So for a cracking swim. But we're on to the final heat already of the 200 metres breaststroke. We've just got the 4. In lane 1 we have Freya Tyndale, City of Sunderland. In lane 2, Matilda Wilson from Morpeth. Lane 3, Amelia Burrell from Glenrothes. In lane 4, Tia Aitken, representing University of Aberdeen. In 5, Katie Towers, South Lanarkshire. Millie Rivers goes in 6 for Durham City. In 7, Kira Binns, Tadcaster. And in lane 8, Josie Grimes goes for Warren de Baths. In fact, no swimmer in lane 2. And a good start there in lane 6, Millie Rivers, Durham City swimmer. Also in 8, Josie Grimes from Warren de Baths Club. But it's pretty tight through that first length. Still lane 6, Millie Rivers, Dundee City. Durham City. Swimmers come in on entry times of 2:45, 2:46. So still some way to go if they're going to catch that time from Ava Bremner in the previous heat. But they may have a bit more of a race on it, which could help them. Millie Rivers and Josie Grimes between those two after the first 50, and Josie Grimes just edging her way into the lead in lane 8, touching neck and neck in fact with Millie Rivers from Durham City. And I think probably in third place, sandwiched between the two, is Kira Binns from Tadcaster.
Yeah, very tight race this one, but Josie Grimes maybe just edging it now. 2:46.57 entry time done at the East District Open where she was 4th, and she does have the touch by 3/10 now, 1:19.12. That's not as fast as Ava Bremner in the previous heat, about a second back on her time, but a 41.7, so that was a good second 50 from her. Keep your eye on Tia Aitken in lane 4. She is making her presence felt now as we see Josie turning. You can see that she did still turn first, but I think Tia is now up to, well, certainly vying for second, along with Millie Rivers in lane 6. Kira Binns up with them as well. So they are the 3 behind Josie. Can any of them mount a challenge? Well, Josie, if anything, has built her lead on that last 50. You see there are 42.9 and everybody else 43s and 44s.
Yeah, I mean, you called Tia Aitken there in lane 4, and she is going very well. I think she is probably the closest contender. But lane 8, Josie Grimes, well, I'm not sure she's going to get caught now. So
nice close up of her final turn there. So 2 of these 200 breaststrokes are going to be taken from a swimmer in lane 8. So if you've got a lane, you've got a chance, and Josie Grimes taking full advantage of her lane here to come in with the win, 2:44.34. So that is 2 seconds inside her entry time, and given that that was a recent best time, that's good progression. Tia Aitken does take second, 2:45.20. So that is also inside her entry time by a couple of tenths. Kira Binns in third, 2:47.23, just 300ths between Kira and Millie Rivers.
And now, interestingly, we just had the 4 heats of the female 200 metres breaststroke, and we have 7 heats now of the male and open 200 metres butterfly. I think that's a good thing.
Good thing that there were 7 heats of 200 fly, or a bad thing that there's 4 heats of 200 breast?
No, a good thing that there are plenty of heats of 200 metres butterfly, and actually, do you know what, there's not a lot between them, so it's good that there's this opportunity for the swimmers to get to better their 200 fly times and contend for places in the final this evening. Cy Duggan, I don't know if he is swimming in the last heat, but he does have a time which would put him up into contention. But anyway, we're on to our first heat of the 200 metres butterfly, and in the pool we have Yassin Hattab from Dumfries in lane 3, George Custer from Royal Wolverhampton in lane 4, and Harry Challoran Hutchinson from Derwentside and Gateshead. All the swimmers coming in on an entry time of 2:24, 29.08 for Harry, who is well out in front. So Harry Challoran Hutchinson, 29.08 at the first measurable turn.
I noticed the European short course, they had 25 splits, didn't they? They had timing on. I don't think I've seen that before.
Well, I have, and I was going to ask you about it. I think we should have it. I think I've seen it. I think I've seen it at Tollcross.
Don't remember that.
Yeah.
Certainly not normal in the short course events, but yeah, I thought that was interesting, and it certainly gives you more information when you can measure your splits for every 25 instead of every 50. But well, this is a good opening salvo from Harry O'Halloran Hutchinson here. A 2:24 entry time for the 17-year-old from Derwentside and Gateshead, but well, he is dominating this first heat. The other two locked side by side, Yassin and George. 14-year-old from Dumfries, 15-year-old from Royal Wolverhampton School, but well, Harry, it's hard to see him being caught now. 1:40.08, a 35.85 split there. So another of those will bring him in 2:15ish against a 2:24 entry time. Let's see if he can hold that pace. This is where it will get tough, of course, particularly if he really, when he did really push it in the opening area, and maybe is just tying up a little bit. Still battle on for second. Yassin, I think, just edging it in the white cap in lane 3, but there we focus on the Derwentside swimmer, and he is comfortably inside his entry time, 2:17.36. Did struggle a little bit to hold that pace on that final 50, but he'd done the work and earned himself a 7-second improvement on his entry time. He'll be, I think, highly delighted with that once he recovers. George Custer, in fact, just getting second, so he was really strong down that final 25 just to edge past Yassin Hattab, second and third, and both of them inside their entry times as well.
Yep, brave swims and strong as well. Heat number 2. In lane 1, Alex Taylor, East Lothian. In lane 2, Lucas Snowden, Aberdeen. In lane 3, Carrick Thompson, Inverclyde. In 4, Harry Douglas, Morpeth. In 5, Lewis Peggs from Loftus Dolphins. Where's Loftus Dolphins from, Duncan? Oh, right. Well,
please let us know, everybody, where is Loftus Dolphins? My gut reaction tells me Yorkshire, but I wouldn't swear to that whatsoever.
No.
Well, now, what's going on here? There's something funny going on the timing there. We saw 2 swimmers come up from the first heat there, but I'm hoping that they're just getting a little bit muddled and we'll be able to move on, having successfully, here we go, there's the lineup for heat 2.
And there's the remaining swimmers. So Glenn Geddes goes in lane 6 for University of Aberdeen Performance, and William Chedaway in lane 7 for Borough of Stockton. Glenn, just 13.
Yeah, he's a talent, and particularly distance freestyle, I think he's very strong on that.
Oh, but, butterfly.
We'll see that just now, hopefully.
Yes, well, I think he must be a very hard worker, because it does tend to be those longer and but perhaps more challenging events. But the 200 fly, he's certainly a good fly swimmer. We recognise him as such in the North District. But yeah, just 13.
Yeah, got the evidence for that because he went on 223, but at last weekend up in Inverness he did a 221. So let's see how he goes here. But the early leader is Lewis Peggs of Loftus Dolphins, 29.02. 9/10 up. Carrick Thompson second, Lucas Snowden third. So at the moment, Glenn is languishing a bit in 6th place. So we'll wait and see whether that changes as this race progresses. But it's the Loftus Dolphin who is leading them. 15-year-old, 2:23.11 for him, and behind him in lane 3, Carrick Thompson of Inverclyde and Lucas Snowden of Aberdeen. So it's your 1-2-3 at halfway. 1:03.71 the halfway split, and that is about half a second faster than the first heat. So still it is very much Lewis who is holding that lead around about 1.5 meters, I would say, over Carrick. Lucas Snowden still in third, and then it is lane 7, I think, William Chadaway. But Lewis Peggs 1:41.25 will be looking to finish the job here. 37.5 split there, so faster than anybody else. Lane 3 still in second, Carrick. And that gap is, I think, staying fairly steady. Might be shrinking a little bit, but, well, Carrick, I think, will run out of pool. But he is having a go here to try and close in on Lewis. But Lewis has got this covered, and he is going to bring it in 2:19.31, so that is nearly 4 seconds inside his entry time. Carrick Thompson 2:20.76, a nice improvement from him as well, 2.5 seconds. Harry Douglas third, 2:22.10.
Yeah, so I've just had a little Google when I can't find Lewis Dolphins.
Loftus Dolphins.
Loftus Dolphins, yes, where I'm getting me Lewises and me Loftuses all mixed up. So how many heats did we say we had of this? So heat number 3.
5 to go.
Yeah, heat 3. Kieran Bradley Wiseman goes in lane 1 for Deveron. In 2, Thomas Connell, Tynemouth. In lane 3, Jude Mowbray, Fulthouse. In lane 4, Jacob Nellis from Newcastle. In lane 5, Oliver Brown, South Tyneside, I assume. In lane 6, Toby Craig from Morpeth. In 7, Adam Merrick, Cumbernauld. And in lane 8, it's Kieran Brown representing Aberdeen. And this is very close on entry times. The first to the turn maybe into Thomas Connell from Tynemouth. And it's a full set of swimmers in the pool, but it's the Tynemouth swimmer Thomas Connell taking it out through the first 50, 28.55. So half a second faster than we saw previously. Toby Craig in second, Jacob Nealis not very far behind at all. But it's lane 2, still probably only just edging it now. But through the first 100, it's Thomas Connell. Toby Craig closest to him. The gap about half a second, 1:02.13 at the halfway mark for Thomas Connell. Jacob Nealis should I say, in third place. And both holding their form and their stroke very well, although that was a little bit of a longer pause at the turn there for our leader Thomas Connell from Tynemouth. So those little breaks at the turn can feel good, but they can make a big difference. And I think Toby Craig has just taken up the lead, 1:37.5, so half a second behind turned into half a second an advantage, and he's kept it really strong down through the second half of the race. for Toby Craig from Morpeth. And a quick fast turn for him, pushing it on underneath the water, just coming in towards the finish. Toby coming in on an entry time from Morpeth of 2:21.6. Well, he's going to be well inside that. Cracking finish there, 2:16.35 for Thomas Connell. We didn't get the touch there, I don't think, from the second place swimmer. So showing currently as Kieran Bradley Wiseman, but I do think it was Thomas Connell. So we've now lost our first place. There we have Toby Craig. He was the winner, 2:15.89. Thomas Connell in second place.
So Loftus, I'm saying, is North Yorkshire, although I'm a little puzzled because Loftus Dolphins show themselves as registered with Northumberland and Durham County, so maybe they're just over the border into Northumberland, into Durham. But anyway, that's sort of neck of the woods.
Yeah, it looked as though it was the northeast region of Swim England when I looked, but I couldn't actually see where the location was. Anyway, they're very welcome and it's good to see them.
Along with all of their colleagues from the northeast of England. Such a great turnout of northeast clubs here. Anyway, heat 4, we have Logan Scally, University of Aberdeen, in lane 1. 2 is Ethan Clark, his teammate. 3, Sam Ruff from City of Glasgow. Lane 4 is Benjamin Palmer of Chesterley Street. 5 is Joe Johnson of Durham City. 6, Daniel Roberts of Billingham. 7, Thomas Laws, Derwent's in Gateshead, and Godrin Cattons of Borough Stockton in lane 8. Entry times here 2:19s and 2:20s. So certainly starting off pretty close here.
Strong start, Logan. Yeah, strong start, Logan Scally over in lane 1 from the University of Aberdeen. In fact, he does touch first there, 29.77, but it's pretty neck and neck for the next 4 places. Lane 4 and 5 just maybe coming through, but Logan Scally still holding on there for the University of Aberdeen in lane 1. 5th at Scottish Schools again. See, SS is Scottish Schools, isn't it, with your hieroglyphs there, Duncan? Yeah. It just does seem like such a long time ago, doesn't it? I mean, it would have been in January this year up in Aberdeen. But still Logan Scally, 1:04.76, so not as fast as we saw in the previous heat.
Yeah, I wonder whether they'll pull it on in the second half here. Certainly starting to look strong in lane 4 is Chesterley Street swimmer Benjamin Palmer. So let's see if he can challenge in the second half. Beside him as well in lane 5 is Joe Johnson of Durham City. And these two not far behind Logan, but Logan's still leading out of lane 1. So we've seen a few lane 8 wins. I think it's a long time since we've seen a lane 1 win. Let's see if we can this time. Logan, though, will have to hold off the challengers down this final length. See a 35.4, slightly faster than anybody else on that penultimate 50, but here comes Benjamin Palmer in lane 4, so he's a real threat now. Not a lot between them at the final turn, and it's Benjamin Palmer who's got the momentum here. Also pushing on in lane 6 is Daniel Roberts of Billingham. Not sure he's going to catch the 2 in front of him, but it looks like Ben Palmer is going to just take this one from the long-time leader Logan Scally. 2:16.26, so really pushed it hard on that final 50. And in fact, it was Daniel Roberts did just nudge ahead of Logan Scally by 400s, finishing also very strongly. You see 35.6s from both the front 2 there, back on the final 50. Logan just slightly running out of gas there, has to settle for 3rd. But good improvements at the front of that one, a 2:16 from a 2:19 for Benjamin Palmer, 2:17s for Daniel and Logan, and they are both also nicely inside their 2:20 entry times.
Yes, so well, we're more than halfway through. We've now got heat number 5 of 7 in lane 1, Cole Murphy, City of Glasgow. Lane 2, Ollie Hodsick, University of Aberdeen. In lane 3, Finlay Duffin, Warren de Bath Club. In 4, Ivan Gallagher goes for Derwentside and Gateshead. Lane 5, Hayden Sterling, St Thomas. In 6, James Hendon, Tadcaster. Lane 7, James Holm from Derwentside and Gateshead. And in lane 8, it's Andrew Liu from Step Rock. And well, you mentioned lane 8, didn't you? And Andrew Liu has set off very quickly from Step Rock, 14 years old. We've got another 14-year-old coming a little bit later, Julian Ocroy. But it's the 14-year-old Andrew Liu who is leading them out, 28.58. That's a pretty fast first 50 on this 200 fly, and it's the outside lane sandwiching everybody else. So Andrew Liu and Cole Murphy leading them out. Not a lot to choose between the two. They've got a couple of body lengths clear of everybody else.
Yeah, you have to imagine that they'll be completely oblivious of the other one. And the two of them will know they're going well compared with the swimmers around them, but will they be aware of this swimmer on the other side of the pool? I don't know. 101.61 though is quite a bit faster than anything we've seen, over 3 seconds faster. Andrew Liu has a good strong butterfly record, including being national age group champion in the swamp. And there you see him coming in, nice tidy stroke as he goes into the wall there. Step Rock, as I mentioned earlier, based in St Andrews. He's a member of the Scottish Youth Academy, and he's certainly opened up his lead in this third 50, so he's holding his pace really well here, and he's now got a sizable lead over the swimmer on the other side, Cole Murphy. A 34.4 there, you can see. Cole Murphy just struggling in that third 50. At 136.01, so if he can do another 34, we're talking 210 territory. Now time 209.89 to get into the B final. He's not going to be a million miles away from that if he can hold this pace. Let's see what he can do down this final length. This is a super swim from Andrew. So the time just going 2:06, 2:07 as he comes into the final 5. He's not quite going to get the time for a second swim, but excellent stuff. 2:12.01 taking the win there. Slightly slower in that final heat, but well, you can forgive him for that because he gave everything for that, and that was a 7-second improvement on his entry time. Brilliant stuff. Ivan Gallagher strong in the second half, finishing on a 35.5 there to take second place for the Derwentside and Gateshead swimmer, 2:16.26, so he takes the second off his entry time. James Hume third, but Andrew Liu, very, very impressive there.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. I mean, I think that he held his form really well on his stroke. He did take a little bit longer on his turn. You could see him just holding onto the wall just a little bit longer than he had done, because he had really good turns up until then. He's not a swimmer I'm familiar with. I guess you would be more aware of him in the East District, but that was really good.
Yeah, he certainly has shown a lot of promise, but here we come to our penultimate 200 butterfly heat number 6, and the lineup: Richie Saunders of Warrender in lane 1, Blake Herbert of Tadcaster in 2, Kai Connolly, University of Aberdeen in 3, Ben Tuward of Tynemouth in 4, Yaya El Fouli, University of Aberdeen in 5, Daniel Morehouse of Derwentside and Gateshead in 6, Carol Alexander, City of Sunderland in 7, and Jack Shaw of Bells Hill in lane 8. 2:16s and 2:17s the entry time here, so they'll need to go some to match that 2:12 we just seen. Daniel Morehouse 28.60. That's pretty much the same opening split as Andrew Liu, so let's see how he goes as this race develops. Lane 6 is Daniel, just ahead of lane 3, Kai Connolly of University of Aberdeen. I think it's his first year up in Aberdeen from the Central Belt. I'm trying to remember where he was before. South Lanarkshire, I think.
Glasgow, then South Lanarkshire, I think, was the path that he took. But yeah, Daniel Morehouse looking good, 1:01.51, which is a little bit faster than we saw in the previous heat, so he's made up a 10th. And looking very strong. He's, I mean, it's not that old, 18. Entry time 2:16.97, so a little bit faster on entry than Andrew Liu. And well, I think he's got a bit of competition now from in lane 3, Kai Connolly. And again, you can see just that little bit longer on the turn. But you might want that to get some distance off the wall, and he looks to have found his second wind there, but Kai Connolly is also giving it some down this 7th 25. I think perhaps just touching first there, Kai Connolly. Who's got it left to down the final 25? Well, I think Kai looks as though he's got a very determined down this final 25. Holding his form well towards the finish. And a good strong 25 there from Kai Connolly, 2:12.25, just about matches the time we saw from Andrew Liu in the heat before. And Daniel Morehouse, our leader, through 175, 2:13.24, his final time. That's a good improvement for him as well.
Yep, both of them putting in good improvements there. Kai Connolly seems to be reveling in his time in Aberdeen. He's seen big advances in his time so far this season, so well done to him there, 2:12.25. One more heat to go. There's the lineup for it, and we have James Fothergill, City of Manchester, in lane 1. 2 is Julian Ockroy of Delting Dolphins. In Shetland, Luke Thompson goes for Sterling Swimming in 3. Cedar Gullen. Now watch out for him because his entry time 2:06.90. I suspect that he has been allowed to swim in the afternoon, maybe because of university commitments in the morning. So he's in lane 4. Inisgao of Geary in 5. 6 is Alexander Morton of Darlington. 7, Aaron McGee of City of Sunderland, and Dan Hay for Forth Valley Tridents in lane 8. So based on that entry time, you would say that Cedar Gullen is a very heavy favourite here. 2:06.90, and he does lead coming down towards the 50 turn. Not by a huge margin, but definitely the lead. Let's see what his split is. 28.50, so pretty much on a par with what we've seen in the previous 2 heats. But, well, the opening 50 is almost this Fody War in a 200 fly, and we'll now see what they're made of as we get into the heart of the event.
And there's the pink cap of Forth Valley again. I'll have to get used to that. In lane 8, Dan Hay for them, but Cedar Gullen, well, he's looking good out in front now, isn't he? So 1:01.30, a little bit faster than we saw in the previous heat, but he's really pushed it on now as he moves into the second half of the race. Yeah, looking strong through that 5th 25 there. I'm quite interested to see, and thinking about comparisons with Andrew Liu, we've got Julian Ockroy, also 14, swimming in this heat. And it's very close, you know, apart from Cedar Gullen being out there, well, by a bit of a mile at the moment, 1:34.46. So he has really pushed it on, but it's really, really close for the rest of the swimmers. In lane 1, James Fothergill perhaps just getting the better of them, but Julian Ockroy's not out of it there.
So Cedar is looking good for a second swim here, so he needs to be inside 2:09.89. I think he's going to do that fairly comfortably. So he comes in 2:07.90. That puts him in the middle of the pecking order for the B final. So well done to Cedar. So he will progress to a second swim. Second was James Fothergill there, 2:14 for him. The second half inside his entry time. Dan Hay very close to him, 2:14.26, and that's also a nice improvement of a couple of seconds for the Forth Valley swimmer.
And you can see what a quality swim it was that Andrew Liu put in there, because he would have been second in that race.
So from 200 butterfly, we move back to the females, 100 metres backstroke, 5 heats.
Only. So for the women's, or the female should I say, 100 metres backstroke in this, our first heat, we have Evie Lamont from Glenrothes in lane 1, Molly Scott in lane 2 for Derwentside and Gateshead, lane 3 Abigail Hill, Glasgow University, in lane 4 Emily Witten, Chesterley Street, in lane 5 Kalila Smith, Aberdeen, in 6 Isabella Cohen from Heart of Midlothian, and in lane 7 Jess Woods representing Tadcaster. Entry times 1:08. So who's got it to take out this first heat in the 100 backstroke this afternoon. So 5 heats there were this morning, 5 heats this afternoon, and it's pretty even break off the start. Just in front maybe Emily Whitton. So Emily, the only swimmer in her 20s, perhaps a little bit more power than the other swimmers, representing Chesterley Street. She's got the fastest entry time, 1:08:44. And it's Emily first to the turn, 31.9 after 50 metres, as Isabella Cohen second. Molly Scott not very far behind, but our leader right from the off, Emily Whitton from Chesterley Street. Well, turning first, well, not far behind her, Isabella Cohen out of Midlothian. And it's these two swimmers out in front. Well, they're not going to be caught. Emily Cohen might well catch Emily Whitton, and she does, 1:06:06. So that's 2.5 seconds there for Isabella Cohen. That's a cracking improvement. 1:07:01 for Emily Whitton in second place. Molly Scott in third, 1:07:98. So some good improvements.
Yeah, Isabella's having a good weekend. I think we've seen a lot of PBs from her. The Heart swimmer trains here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool. So she'll be, I think, pretty happy with that, as will her coaching team. On to heat number 2. And here we have lane 1, Charlotte Soulsby of Newcastle. 2 is Casey Dixon of South Lanarkshire. 3, Imogen Lowe of West Hill. 4, Megan Ferris of Cumbernauld. Rebecca Mayling goes to her Bells Hill in 5. Caitlin Peebles of Edinburgh University in 6. 7, Katie Palmer of Chesterley Street. And 8, Isla Russo from Renfrew Baths.
And that 1:06:06 has actually pushed her up into 24th place, which is pretty amazing.
We'll see where that, it could well be some swimmers who will knock her back out again, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. Over in lane 1, good solid start from Charlotte Soulsby, and she will turn first ahead of Casey Dixon. So the early action up at the top of your screen there, but now the centre lanes coming into the picture, particularly Rebecca Mayling, the 14-year-old from Bells Hill in the red cap. But, well, very, very tight indeed. Who's going to get touched? Maybe lane 7. It is Katie Palmer, 32.49, representing Chesterley Street, Katie. And she is 1:08:23 entry time. But, well, there's plenty of swimmers in contention here. Let's see as they turn now. Maybe Rebecca Mayling, but Katie Palmer as well in lane 7. Those two, 5 and 7, Rebecca and Katie, just have the edge over the rest of the field here. And I think it is the Bells Hill swimmer, Rebecca, who's perhaps just got the edge here and strongest down this final 25 and takes the win. 1:07:39 for her. So she takes the win there with that time, against an entry time 1:08:11, so that is an improvement for her. Second, let's wait for confirmation of the order. So they've just not quite got them up on the board yet as the confirmed result, so maybe some queries about this. We'll wait and see. Oh no, we are good to go. Megan Ferris second, Katie Palmer third. Rebecca Mayling with the win there.
Megan Ferris must have had a strong second half. I was quite surprised about where she was through the first 50, but yeah, very strong second half for her, in fact to match her entry time. So we'll move on to heat number 3 then. It looks like all the swimmers are present. Isla Marshall goes in lane 1 for Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson. Lane 2, Zara Holt, Tadcaster in 3, Ara Gill, Carnegie in 4, Jasmine Robertson from Aberdeen in 5, Gracie Haddow, South Ayrshire in 6, Bethany Hamer from Durham City in 7, Ava Robertson, Midlothian, and in lane 8, Leah Rafferty is representing West Dunbartonshire. Good strong start from Zara Holt from Tadcaster up in lane 1, and that strong start looks as though we'll see her turn first after 25. She's opened up half a body length over the rest of the field, also going well in 7. is the Midlothian swimmer Ava Robertson. Ava perhaps just first to the wall, 31.85, so that's a very strong first half from Ava. She had a good turn off the wall at the turn end and also at the start end, so another strong turn and finish from her. Could well see her challenging that 106 mark. And
yes.
It looks as though it's Ava Robertson. Ava Robertson bringing it home, leaving Zara Hall just behind her. Still between these two, but Ava Robertson, look at her go, 106.64.
So a nice swim from the Midlothian swimmer, about 1.3 inside her entry time. Second, Ara Gill, third, Zara Holt. And on to the last of our 100 backstroke heats.
We've got two.
Oh, it's not. We've got two more, in fact.
We do have two, and this is heat
Isla
4.
Isla Gill-Murray in 1, Freya Keeling in 2, Jessica Whittle in 3, Bronwyn Payne in 4, Cara Broadley in 5, Neve Blackett in 6, Anna Kachenko in 7, Hannah McTurnan in 8. 107s across the board here, just 2/10 on paper separating these swimmers. Bronwyn Payne, Edinburgh University, one of two swimmers, with Cara Broadley on a 107.40. So probably conversions from long course for those two. So let's see how this one works out. So still 106.06 is Bella Cone, with that at the moment spot in the C final. Unless somebody can go faster here or in the next heat. Good start in lanes 4 and 8. Bronwyn Payne in 4, Hannah McTurnan in lane 8. And Bronwyn, I think, will lead them through halfway. Good solid start from her, 31.41. So that's a nice strong opening half for her. 4/10 up, Isla Gill-Murray in lane 1, turning second. Others pretty close. Lane 3 is Jessica Whittle of Newcastle, but it still is Bronwyn at the 75. Now looking for a big strong push down this final 25. So 106.06, the time to book, well, not necessarily book a place, but give herself a chance of a second swim. Let's see, no, just outside that at the end. 107.04, just faded a bit down that last 25. See a 35.6 as Isla Gill-Murray and Freya Keeling second and third. So
yeah, she had a very high stroke rate, and it worked very effectively, and it was just, must have been hard work though, just coming in towards the finish. Who'd have thunk it, eh? 106.06 from our first heat could well still work.
Yeah.
We've got one heat to come though. In lane 1, Maddie Barber, University of Stirling. In lane 2, Kira Pemble, Edinburgh University. In 3, Hannah Lafferty from Atlantis. In lane 4, Lucy McLeod, Forth Valley. 5, Faye Prosser from Highland Swim Team. In 6, Ruby Robinson, Tadcaster. In 7, Rebecca Smith, Aquajets Newcastle. And in lane 8, it's Matilda Bassindale representing Forth Valley. So 2 Forth Valley swimmers in those pink caps in this, our final heat, with 106.06 now the time to beat. And obviously a little issue there. That's unfortunate there for our final heat. And Faye Prosser as well, we saw her in the 200 metres individual medley this morning. Backstroke more has habitually or in the past been her thing, but she's obviously swimming well. So that start signal sounded a little bit after the light, but I guess that's the way that light and sound works, isn't it, Duncan? Yeah, strong start there in lane 3 from Hannah Lafferty, Atlantis swimmer. And a nice turn from her as well. Sees her just ahead of Lucy McLeod, the Forth Valley swimmer, and Kira Pemble alongside her on the other side. Looks to be between these three. Hannah Lafferty, though, just getting first of the world, 31.45, which pretty much matches the time that we saw in the previous heat. Hannah Lafferty still looking strong through the final approach to the wall. Lucy McLeod, though, Nice approach to the wall from her and a good push off as well. Caesar almost drawing up alongside Hannah Lafferty as we come in towards the final 10 metres. But Hannah Lafferty, I think it's going to be to take this our final heat. What's the time going to be? 1:05.77, just inside the time that was set in our first heat.
So she'll get a second swim there, beating 3 of the swimmers that were previously in the C final. So fortunately that means Isabella Combe probably knocked out to be first reserve. Lucy McClare, their 1:06.11 is just behind that time, so she'll be, I think, probably just outside the reserves there. But good solid swim, and well done to Hannah there for taking the win there and earning herself another swim.
Yes, looking at the 100 backstroke, I mean, obviously we don't know and we can't predict what swimmers are going to do, but it looks as though it's an event where we haven't got much duplication with other events. Sometimes we can see swimmers and they're going to be contesting 2 or 3 finals, but I'm not seeing that so much with the 100 backstroke, but we will have to wait and see. So next up we have the male and open 100 metres individual medley. We saw some cracking swims in this morning, didn't we?
Yes, we certainly did. Line up in this first one. We've got 5 swimmers involved: Lucas Snowden of Aberdeen, Daniel Morehouse of Derwentsside and Gateshead, Lewis Kessel of Darlington, Taylor Sinclair of University of Aberdeen, and Luke Garrity of City of Glasgow. 1:02s across the board on entry times. Coming up towards halfway. So many technical skills at work in this 100 IM. 27.88, Lewis Kessel with the advantage going into breaststroke. But we've got lanes 3, 4 and 5 all very close here. David, Lewis, Taylor, and it's maybe lane 3, David Morehouse of Derwentsside and Gateshead, just with this slight advantage in the breaststroke, but still everything to play for. Luke Garrity, of course, a good breaststroker as well, and he's brought himself up into the mix. Coming out in the freestyle, though, looks like the early leader, Lewis Kessel, maybe just edging it back now in lane 4, and he does take the touch. 1:02.03, so that is 6/10 inside his entry time. And a good competitive first heat there. Just wait for confirmation of the result. Lewis there led early on, got caught in the breaststroke, but then pulled away again in the freestyle and takes it by 1500s. Daniel Morehouse second, Taylor Sinclair in third.
We're moving on then, heat number 2. In lane 1, Jacob Light, representing Morpeth. In lane 2, Finch Geary, Step Rock. Lane 3, Kaylin Johnson from Lerwick. In 4, Samuel Cool, Step Rock. In 5, Jack Philpott, Derwentsside and Gateshead. In lane 6, Rowan Brown, Elgin. In 7, Jamie McCormick from Testerley Street. And in lane 8, Zach Weatherhead, University of Aberdeen Performance. And I missed that we do not have a swimmer in lane 3. Strong start in 7, Jamie McCormick, Chesterley Street. First to the wall after the fly. And a good fast turn, but alongside him, Rowan Brown from Elgin. Also going well, as is in lane 2, Finch Geary, who we saw swim a cracking race earlier on, and it's Finch in the backstroke. Very strong backstroke leg from him, touching in 28.48 at the halfway mark. But now we see the breaststrokers coming on through, and in lane 1, Jacob Light from Morpeth. Very strong breaststroke from him. Jack Philpott 2 in lane 5. But lane 1, I think it was, first to the wall. Though can he hold off a fast finishing Jack Philpott side and Gateshead? Well, I think he can. Jacob Light from lane 1. Oh, just gets that one. 1:01.26. So it's a second and a quarter improvement from Jacob Light in lane 1. Jack Philpott gets the second touch. A Derwentsside and Gateshead swimmer, 1:01.73, and Samuel Cool, 1:02.00 in third place.
Yep, so another good tight contest there, but Jacob Light taking the win. On to heat number 3. And in this one we have Lockie Below Shetland in 1, Peter McGrother at Derwentsside and Gateshead in 2, Etana Sarinkov in lane 3 for Aberdeen Dolphin. 4 is Tom Robinson of Alnwick Dolphins. Harrison Holmes of University of Stirling in 5, Rory McCallum of Guy and Best End in 6, Alfie Maguire of Chesterley Street in 7, and Alex Holmes of Glenrothes in lane 8. Well, not a lot in it after the butterfly. Coming out of the turn though. Good turn in lane 7 from Alfie Maguire, the Chesterley Street swimmer, but plenty of others close by him. You really look at that, all of the 8 swimmers turning very, very close indeed. Alex Holmes from lane 8 just getting a touch, 27.94. It's about half a second faster than the previous heat, so Alex down at the bottom of your screen, but it looks like lane 5 has gone past him. That's Harrison Holmes from the University of Stirling, so he will lead at the end of the breaststroke. But beside him also lane 6, Rory McCallum. So these two now, Alex Holmes not out of it, he's a fast freestyler, so he is coming back into the mix. So lanes 5, 6 and 8, who's going to get the touch? Ooh, Harrison by a 10th, 101.34. Second, Alex Holmes, 101.46. Peter McGrother and Rory McCallum just 200ths apart, 101.58, 101.60. So tight.
Yeah, not quite as fast as we saw in the previous heat, but some cracking swimming there. So we're moving on to heat number 4. Titus Pike goes for 8. Aquajets Newcastle in lane 1. In 2, it's Will Gibson, Durham City. Lane 3, Tanai Makamadzi from Tadcaster. In 4, Edward Bell, Millfield. 5, Conan Swinney, Derwentsside and Gateshead. In lane 6, James Aberdeen from University of Aberdeen. In 7, Lewis Gibson from City of Glasgow. And in lane 8, Dominic McCarthy goes for Ren 96. Wow, strong fly there from Will Gibson, Durham City swimmer in lane 2. And he's holding up on the backstroke too, although it's mighty close. Will Gibson just gets the touch there by 1/100th over Edward Bell in second. So 26.78, 26.79, and moving through now into the lead. It's Conan Swinney in lane 5. So Conan Swinney and Edward Bell in the 2 middle lanes, and it looks to be between these two, but no, it's not between these two at all. It's Conan Swinney out in front, and a full body length clear as we come towards the end of the race. Came in on 101.36, under the minute, 59.33 for Conan Swinney. He takes that one. 1:00.21, Edward Bell in second, and Tinaya Makamadzi, he finished in third place, 1:01.02.
That places him first reserve for the C final, so that was a super swim, absolutely bursting through the minute mark. What a final turn that was from breast to freestyle.
It really was. I mean, he was there or thereabouts, wasn't he, at the final turn, but at the finish there was a good body length and a half of space between him and the second place swimmer.
Yep.
So we move on to the final heat then. Archie Smith in 1 for Aberdeen Dolphin. In 2, Aidan Bruce, Aberdeen. In 3, Daniel Hollis, Birmingham University. 4, Jack Mitchell, University of Aberdeen. Lane 5, Harry Cook for Aberdeen Dolphin. 6, Albert Whitlock, Tonbridge. In 7, Jamie Farnham, Southern Isle of Man. In 8, Finn Neve from City of Norwich.
Yeah, Harry Cook is looking very good here. He's going to have a big lead at the halfway mark, so he's certainly stating his claim for a second swim there, 26.08. Let's see what he can do in the second half here, because, well, he is well clear after the first half. They are coming a little bit at him in the breaststroke, led by Daniel Hollis in the red cap in lane 3, but it's still Harry, and now he's comfortable on the freestyle, you would think. He won't be caught now, so now it's really head down, get the engine running to maximum capacity. Look at that stroke rate as he came in, 58.03, so that is comfortably into the C final there. So we'll see Harry again, and 59.60 second place Daniel Hollis, and 1:01 Albert Whitlock. But Harry Cook, the star of the show in that one.
That was an astonishing fly back leg, wasn't it? I mean, backstroke, we know that Harry is an extraordinary backstroker for a boy of 15, a young man of 15, should we say, but his fly was extraordinary too. And he held it on the breaststroke. Was it good?
Yeah, he held on
done.
the breaststroke, and then he sort of really went for it in the free at the end there, as he absolutely piled into the wall at the back end of that one. So good to see. 400 freestyle is next up for female swimmers. We have 3 heats to go in this one, and we are ready to go with the first of them, just the 3 swimmers in it. And they are Caitlin Morton of City of Glasgow, Jenny Maguire, South Lanarkshire, and Sophia Sugden of City of Manchester. Entry times for the 3 of them, all 4:41s, so we'll see how this goes. Just 2/10 between their entry times. Nice start in lane 3 from Caitlin Morton, the City of Glasgow swimmer. All 15-year-olds as well, so all to play for here. Very similar entry times, similar ages. So definitely a level playing field here in this first heat, and certainly it is Caitlin who will lead them through the 50. So she goes through in 30.98, so a bit over a second up at the 50, and coming out of the turn with about 2 meters an advantage. So certainly making her case early on here.
Now, I was just looking online to see about the finalists, because remember we had the issue with the clock this morning. In fact, the results aren't up on Swim Scotland, although they are on Meet Mobile, and I assume that they are correct. So the time to beat is 4:29.96, and that's the 16th place swimmer. Like I say, I assume that they are all correct, but they're not on Swim Scotland, and I don't think we've got them here on our announcer's friend either, have we? So it's a bit of a big ask, but then these swimmers are only 15, and we don't know how often they contest 400 metres freestyle, particularly short course. Looking good in lane 3 just now. Caitlin Morton, City of Glasgow swimmer, coming up towards the 150 mark in this, our first of 3 heats. 1:42.12.
Yeah, so still with a lead of a bit over 2 seconds, which he's had from fairly early on. I think maybe just slightly building that lead, but by no means home and dry just yet. Jenny Maguire will challenge her. She was the West District age group champion. In fact, has a slightly faster time than Caitlin, 4:41.53. So they're 1-2, 2 from the West, South Lanarkshire and City of Glasgow, ahead of the Manchester swimmer. So 2:19.76, so that lead has dropped now to under a second. So Jenny is definitely coming back now at Caitlin. So maybe Caitlin's suffering from going out a little bit fast. And now the 3 of the swimmers all pretty close, and it's Jenny now in lane 4 who edges into the lead, and going with her is Sophia in the black cap in lane 5. So the early leader alongside Sophia, Caitlin Morton. So those two very close, but Jenny Maguire now trying to open up the gap. A 36-0 split there, so keep an eye on the relative splits as well, particularly perhaps Jenny and Sophia, who is probably now the main threat to Jenny Maguire, but she's on Jenny's toes at the moment as we come down towards 300. So 100 to go at this turn. So a 36.4 and a 36.8. So Jenny picked up another 4/10 there. So at the moment she has got the edge. So to 113 for that third 100. So another of those would be 4:46. So not quite on the 4:41 pace that they're entered on. But they would pick it up a bit, you would think, in the closing stages, although probably not enough to get to their entry time. So we'll wait and see. 50 to go. 4:09 and 4:11. Again, both mid-36s there. So it's looking fairly clear now that Jenny will take this first heat, coming up to her final turn, up by 3 meters or so, as we see Sophia turning behind her. So they will be 1 and 2. So not too far away from their time zone. It definitely did pick up the time in that final 50. 4:44.69, or 35 from 36s before. So 4:44.69, 4:46.82, and Caitlin 4:54.73.
No, I'm sure that they'll be pleased enough with that from the first heat of this 400 free. Of course, the fastest swimmer that we saw this morning came from South Lanarkshire, but I think the swimmers come together for these national events. I'm not sure where Jenny Maguire routinely swims, because there's several clubs from South Lanarkshire that all come together. It's a nice setup. It's a good setup. Anyway, we move on to heat number 2. Olivia Ryan representing City of Manchester in lane 1. Emily Taylor, another swimmer from South Lanarkshire, in lane 2. I think she is from the same programme as Evie Mackey. I think she's a Lanark swimmer. Rebecca Somerville in lane 3 for University of Aberdeen. Lane 4 also from University of Aberdeen, Tia Aitken. In 5, Kirsten Mackay from Finns. In lane 6, Annabella Scatterty from University of Aberdeen. In lane 7, Alice Ward from Borough of Stockton. So entry times for these swimmers are all at 4:40. So we didn't see any of the swimmers better their entry times from the first heat, but how close can these go, and can they get inside? So leading them out at the moment is Annabella Scatterty, a University of Aberdeen swimmer, and alongside her Kirsten Mackay from Finns. A white cap and a black cap, Duncan.
Yep, and then another white cap up there as well, so white, black, white. Annabella 1:04.96, about a second faster than the first heat out in the 100. Kristen and Tia second and third, so these three have got a bit of a advantage on the others. And a nice little diagonal, good three-way contest going on the far side, but I think fourth place is the swimmer in lane 7, Alice Ward.
I think you're brave to call that one. So, but yeah,
never in doubt.
We've got a nice little line going on here. Annabella Scatterty, I love the way that she does tend to get recorded as Anna B, but and Annabella she is. And the University of Aberdeen swimmer is leading the way still.
Yeah, I think she's building that lead a bit, isn't she? It looks like it's a full body length now over Kristen and Tia. They're pretty well matched in the centre lanes. It's halfway mark, 2:14.70, so now 5 seconds faster than the previous heat. So you'd expect that, in that the first heat didn't swim to their entry times. These swimmers hopefully will be swimming to their 4:40 entry times, certainly the front runners anyway.
Yeah, and you could see on that last split that the 50-metre time was about half a second faster for Annabella, and indeed half a second faster than the swimmer in 4, Tia Aitken. So her teammate and Kirsten Mackay was a little bit behind that, and you can see that now in the water as Tia Aitken just moves up alongside, and we've lost our lovely little diagonal that we had. Annabella Scatterty now out in front on her own.
Still a good contest going on for fourth up at the top of your screen there. Lane 3, I think, just edging it. Rebecca Somerville from Emily Taylor and Olivia Ryan. So they're having a good old fight, but well, nobody is at the moment is matching Annabella. So through 300, 3:26.33, leads by just over a second. Tia Aitken now, so it's a University of Aberdeen 1-2 going into the final 100. See whether Kristen can hang on there in between them and may mount a challenge in the latter stages. Pretty decent distance freestyler Kristen, but at the moment it's the two from University of Aberdeen ahead of her, although she's putting in a good effort to try and stay with them. So we're not done yet. Annabella is being challenged by Tia now, final 50, and there's not a lot in fact, for the first time it's Tia. And Annabella's time there, 36.7, so she may be just finding it tough at the moment. And Tia, taking full advantage of that, is moved into the lead, up by a body length herself now. So she is looking very much nailed on favourite now as they come down the final length. Krista Mackay will try and catch Annabella down this final length, but she won't catch Tia. She is going to bring this one in. So entry time 4:40.0. She'll be inside that. 4:37.69 takes the win. 2.5 seconds inside her entry time. So well done, Tia.
And that fourth place battle, in fact, was won by the swimmer in lane 7. So just moving past the swimmers over on the swim down pool side.
Yeah, but look at those three. In fact, the two of them, Emily and Rebecca in particular, just a tenth apart. But Tia Kim does that very nicely. Well balanced swim across the 400s.
So on to our final heat of the 400 metres freestyle this afternoon. In lane 1, Sky Petrie goes for Moni Feith. In lane 2, Amy Rimmer, Bells Hill. Lane 3, Grace Renfrew, Perth City. In lane 4, Rebecca Mayling from Bells Hill. In lane 5, Ella Poolman, University of Aberdeen. In 6, Millie Linton, Borough Stockton. Lane 7, Tiffany Latham, Royal Wolverhampton. And in lane 8, it's Kaylee Moulton from Ren 96. And a nice first, a good first 50 there from Amy Rimmer, Bells Hill swimmer. Leading them out and turning first there, 30.53 for Amy. Sky Petrie closest to her. Alongside her in the pool, but I fancy coming through there in lane 4 now. That's Rebecca Mayling, her teammate. So not closest to her in the pool, but closest to her in training. Amy Rimmer and Rebecca Mayling both just 14. It's Amy Rimmer, our leader right from the off. And I think she's going to touch first after the first 100 as well, 104.96.
That is exactly the same split as we saw in the previous heat from Annabella. So we'll see how that works out as this race progresses. So the two Bells Hill swimmers taking this one out.
In fact, it's the 3 14-year-olds that are leading the way. Amy Rimmer, Rebecca Mayling and Sky Petrie in lane 1, all just 14, or certainly 14 by the end of the year. Because the ages that you'll see on the programme and in the results are ages at the 31st of December. Of course, we're quite close to that, but they may have a birthday around and about Christmas time, and it's still the two Bells Hill swimmers out in front.
Yeah, lane 2, Amy Rimmer still has the edge, so she will be looking to keep this one going here. She did her time at her home pool, Bells Hill Winter Meet, bronze medalist at National Age Groups last April, so knows her way around a 400 freestyle, and just still ahead of her teammate Rebecca Mayling, who did her time at the Johnson pool at the Ren Meet. So again, fairly recent time. She was 5th in National Age Group, so behind her teammate Amy Rimmer, long course in Aberdeen. So let's see as they come down. Still Amy has the advantage. The three swimmers in touch behind the two Bells Hill swimmers. Now Sky Petrie in lane 1, Grace Renfrew in lane 3, and lane number 6, Millie Linton. So those three will hope to try and contend in the remaining 150. Can anyone match these two Bells Hill girls. Grace Renfrew just edging into third now, just touching ahead of Sky Petrie. So Grace, 15-year-old, so a year older than the swimmers in front of her. Also pushing on now Millie Linton, the 17-year-old in lane 6, trying to go with Grace. So 100 to go, 3:25.15. Amy still with the advantage, about a second faster than the previous heat at this stage. But still very much, it's a Bells Hill 1-2, and well, I think they're going to have a good scrap in this remaining part of the race. What do you think, Lynn?
Yes, I think they're going to have a good scrap in this last part of the race. I mean, I think they've done really well to hold it out there in front. Grace Renfrew is trying to get up on terms, and she's sandwiched between the two of them, but I don't think she's got enough water left to be able to do that. It's funny because I did think Rebecca Mailing was going to go past Amy Rimmer, and then I thought she wasn't, and now I think she might. So it'll be a real battle down the final 25, and look at her, she has gone past her, just as I thought that she wasn't. But Rebecca Mailing, I think, just moving out in front, and that would be really cruel because Amy Rimmer has worked really hard through this, and it's neck and neck between the pair of them as they come in towards the finish. I think it's going to be Rebecca Mailing. Oh, yes, she does. Oh, goodness, isn't that unkind? 4:34.57, 4:34.66, Amy Rimmer. Grace Renfrew in third. And she wasn't far behind, 4:35.88. But I bet they train like that, and that will have brought them up to where they are, where they can turn on these times and finish in the top 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, good PBs from the top 3 there. And Grace Renfrew just back in the pool because she's had some sickness, and heard that she's only been back about a week into training, so that was good to get a PB on that one and a 400, so well done to her. But it was the 2 from Bells Hill taking the top 2 spots there, headed by Rebecca Mailing. So settle down now. 1500 freestyle is coming up. We have 3 heats for you this afternoon. The fastest heat will take place this evening, so if you don't have a cup of tea, you could maybe quickly nip and get one as we settle into this 1500 freestyle.
Yes, a cup of tea would be very nice. Yeah, so 3 heats of 1500 metres freestyle. We've got 4 in total, but one of them will take place this evening. That will be the fastest one, and this our first heat, where we have 7 swimmers. Jamie Ferris goes in lane 1 for Aberdeen. In lane 2, Sam Ruff, he's representing City of Glasgow. Lane 3 sees Tom Helt representing a City of Sunderland. In lane 4, Andrew Patterson, City of Glasgow. In lane 5, Julian Ockroy from Delting Dolphin. In 6, Benjamin Thomas goes for Borough Stockton, and Cooper Sloss from Wren 96. Well, he completes the lineup in lane 7. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think you could predict anything that's going to happen in this race, apart from the fact that it's a long way to go. Lane 3 is leading them out. Tom Holt from City of Sunderland. And we don't know how often these swimmers manage to swim a 1500 freestyle. The events certainly are available. They're not available every weekend. And of course the times have got to be swum at meets that are licensed and accredited or equivalent down in England for those that have come up from south of the border. But Tom Holt, City of Sunderland, just 14. Alongside him, Sam Ruff from City of Glasgow is also 14, as is Julian Ockroy from Delting.
Yeah, pretty young heat, this one. The oldest is 60, there's an 18-year-old, in fact, Jamie Ferris, but other than that, more 16 or under. Tom Holt, though, a 32.8. Andrew Patterson slightly faster than him on that last 50. So he goes in lane 4. So he's the fastest of the entry times of these guys, but not by much. 16:55. Tom Holt's entry time also 16:55, but a 16:55.6. So, well, 0.6 in a 1500. That's nothing really. And the two of them, again, pretty close. Again, Andrew slightly faster, but 2:06.30, 2:06.77. the times respectively for them. So good solid start, so 66 split. So if they could keep this pace up, they'd be well inside their edge times, but way too early to start calling that. Then the other 5 swimmers fairly close here. Lane 5, I think maybe just in 3rd place. That's Julian Ockroy of Dalting, another 14-year-old member of the Scottish junior team. Did his time in Orkney. We were both there, Lynn, at the Island Games. He was 6th overall in that one.
We were both there, and we commented, or I think we commented at the time, that everything that he did, he went out in 58. So, but he did so well, and he was really strong at the end of his races. But he's up against some fierce competition here, and some 14. And do you know what? We've got a 14-year-old later on who's come in on an entry time of 16:35, which I think is quite extraordinary. But these 3 14-year-olds. In this first heat are doing great. So is Andrew Patterson from City of Glasgow, because he's only 15.
Yep, so at the moment Tom is just holding himself in front of Andrew. These two have opened up about, 3-4 metres over the next trio. So lane 2, Sam Ruff, he's another very promising distance freestyler from City of Glasgow. Julian Ockroy that we talked about, and in lane 6, Benjamin Thomas of the Borough of Stockton. Benjamin 5th in the Swim England summer meet, so he's no mean slouch on a 1500 either. And just behind them in lane 1 is Jamie Ferris, but it is still Tom and Andrew at the front of this race, and still the advantage with the Sunderland swimmer for 20-24. So let's just check on that. That's 67, about half a second slower than his previous 100. But he is opening the gap up a little bit as we get into this, well, not quite into the second 500 yet. This is 4:25 turn that they've just gone through. So let's see whether Tom can continue to build this lead. Let's check on the intermediate splits here. So that's a 33.6 and a 34.3 for Andrew, a 33.7 for Sam, and in fact the fastest, Julian, 32.9 in lane 5. So well, he's got himself now up there in joint 2nd place, and also not far away in lane 6 is Benjamin Thomas. So there's a group of 4 swimmers, lane 2 as well, and that is Sam Ruff. So Sam now in 2nd place behind Tom, so that's a 33.6. Sam's slightly faster than that, 33.3. So he's this time was the fastest on that final 50. Final 50? They wish. But Tom, just consistent, is just holding that lead of about 3 metres. So he's the one now as they go through 6:01, a 33.7 again. Sam Ruff slightly faster, and Julian Ockroy as well. So well,
and he has set himself up as the target there, hasn't he? And they've held it together very nicely. He's in their sights, and at the moment, it's Sam Ruff, I think, who perhaps just has the edge. He looks pretty comfortable. I didn't mean over Tom Holt. Obviously, he's the one that's winning, but Julian Ockroy too. And in fact, Julian just moving through there into 2nd place. And it looks as though Julian Ockroy is moving it on through that second 500. We've spoken about this before, haven't we, Duncan, how it's often a game of thirds that we see. And we're now well into the second 500.
Yeah, Julian looks like he means business at this phase. He's definitely, I think, picked up the pace. We'll just check that out with this next intermediate split. So Tom threw in a 33.9, Julian a 33.3, Sam a 33.5. So I think they're going to both be mounting a bit of a challenge on Tom Holt in this next little while. Just check and see whether that happens. Tom will be aware of that and will want to sustain this lead, but Julian in particular is closing this gap fairly fast now. So the Shetlander from Delting, small club on Shetland mainland towards the north of Shetland, 742.62, north of the mainland anyway, not the northern, very northern Isles of Shetland. So 67 for Tom. His lead now less than a body length. So the next turn will be halfway, 750 meters, and now we've got a three-way tussle. Looks like it's going to be these three deciding it. They've got a gap of about 8 meters over lane 4, which is Andrew Patterson, who challenged earlier but has faded, and Ben Thomas as well in lanes number 6. But Tom still just edging it at the halfway mark, but for how much longer, I wonder. 3 of them pretty much together at that turn. So who's going to have the touch at this 800 mark? Could be any of the 3. Let's see. Well, nothing in it. Tom by 500. It's 849.79. So he will know he's in a fight now. Any confidence he drew from the early stages, he will be having to try and muster some new speed, because it does look like he's been overtaken now by Sam Ruff, who I think is now just in the lead. Tom is responding to that though. Julian just tucked in behind them. 9:23.11, 9:23.5, 9:24.5. Julian maybe just put in a lot of effort in catching up. It's Sam now, perhaps, is the one who is swimming the fastest, a 33.2 against the 33.7 from the other two. So lots of twists and turns in this.
Yeah, I mean, for all you say that, it's actually been remarkably consistent throughout the whole. Every single 50 that they've done has been between 33. Well, I mean, Julian did manage a high 32, didn't he? But look at that, 33.38, 33.40, 33.87. They're still remarkably consistent. 9:56.49. I mean, all of the splits that they've had, bar that first couple, have been 1:07 or thereabouts, which I think is quite amazing. We've got 3 young men that can contest a 1500 like this and make such a good race of it in such a consistent way.
Yeah, definitely. Sam Ruff is the one who's asking the questions at the moment, but Tom Holt is responding well. Julian may be just getting slightly left behind now, so this is a critical time, I think, for him to try and stay with the leading 2. As Sam upping the pressure. Now Youth Academy member, national age group champion, a 14-year-old. So he was ahead of Julian in Scottish national age groups, 1st and 3rd respectively. Tom Holt did his time at North East age groups, 2nd place there, 3rd long course earlier in the year. Starting to lap now and leading the way is Sam Ruff. He's now got a body length lead. Julian O'Croy hanging in there, trying to stay in touch. He's certainly not out of it at this stage.
No, the last 2 100s have been inside the 1:07 mark, so they've drifted just outside and they've moved back in, and Julian is having to work hard to try and stay on terms. You can hear his coach hollering on the poolside at his coach Graham Farmer up in Delting. But he's not out of it yet.
No, but I think he is getting a bit detached now. We'll just check on his next intermediate split, but Sam Ruff is really turning the screw here now. So coming up to the 1100 turn, 12:10.10. So his lead now is about 1.8. You see a 33.2 against a 33.8 and a 34.2. So very much now the City of Glasgow swimmer with the advantage, you would think.
Yeah, so another 106, and in fact moving down towards 106.5 for that last 100 for our leader Sam Ruff, whose lead is now, well, a couple of body lengths over the second place swimmer Tom Holt, who in turn, well, he's probably got 7-8 metres over Julian Ockroy in a third place. It's hard to believe that this is the first of 3 heats that we're going to see this afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, this has been a good one. And, well, Tom is still pushing on, try and stay close. He will have time, if he has got something left in the tank in the last couple of hundred or so, to maybe put in a challenge. Let's just check on the intermediate splits here. 33.9 for Sam, a 33.9 for Tom. So to all intents and purposes the same, and a 34.0 for Julian. So he is hanging in there as well, although he is about 5 metres back on Tom and another 3 metres to Sam. So
yeah, that last 100 was slower, so that was a full 1 second slower. They had drifted down towards 106.5, and that was just outside 107.5 for the last 100. And it may well be that Sam pushed himself through into the lead, got himself a couple of body lengths clear, and is holding that lead.
Although 33.0 there, so that was a strong 50 there. So again, I guess for the young swimmers in particular, it's the concentration just to hold that pace when your body starts to tire, particularly at this part of the race. It's really hard to maintain that level of concentration. Just a moment's lapse of concentration, your time can slip. And, well, I'm sure that the City of Glasgow coaching will be monitoring that and giving him some guidance as he goes. 200 to go then, 14:24.54. So a 2.5 second advantage. So, well, getting close to the time now, you would think, where if Tom is to mount a comeback, he has to start it now, and it's looking pretty unlikely, I'd have to say, because this City of Glasgow youngster is really putting in a show here. So another 33 low. So you talked about these 106, 107s, and that's another 33.3 there. So Tom, 33.9, 33.8 for Julian. So I think we are now talking about a 1, 2, 3. Sam, Tom, Julian. So they'll be coming down now. And about 5 metres separating first and second, as Sam goes through 1400 metres, 15:31. So what are we talking about? It's under 16:40, I think, for Sam. Entry time 16:59, so he's going to be nicely inside that. Don't know where that 59 came from. Might be a long course conversion. He was second in West District age groups, but he didn't do the 16:59 down in Dumfries, so I suspect it is conversion. So he gets the bell. So does Tom. So does Julian. So they are your top 3. Then we got the contest there, lanes 7 and 6, 4th and 5th place. That final turn there for Sam Ruff. So he will bring this one home. This is excellent from the young man from Glasgow. Well under 16:40, 16:37.05. Real disciplined swim there from Sam Ruff, finishing on a 32.0. Tom Holt had something in the tank, so did Julian, both finishing on 30 points. As did Cooper Sloss there, taking 4th, just getting ahead of Benjamin Thomas at the end.
Well, lots of big improvements there. 16:37 for Sam Ruff, like you say. That's a good 22 seconds faster than he'd swum previously. Tom Holt well inside his entry time of 16:55, and even Julian Ockroy, he was 10 seconds inside the time that we saw him swim in Orkney.
Cooper as well, 7-second improvement for him, so nicely done there. And Benjamin just nicks inside his entry time as well. So a good first heat. Still another 2 to go before we're done this afternoon.
Yes, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
In fact, let's do it 2 more times. We can do it.
Right, so we're on to heat number 2. Ben Towood from Tynemouth goes in lane 1. Innes Gow from Geary in lane 2. In lane 3, Lewis Gow, Tiverton. Lane 4, Alex Clark from Dulwich. In 5, Michael O'Neill, Borough Stockton. In lane 6, Kyle Connolly from South Lanarkshire. In 7, Harry Whitfield, Darlington. And in lane 8, Keir Stormouth from Heart of Midlothian. So another full heat. Well, in fact, the last one wasn't. We must have lost somebody, so there was only 7 in the previous heat, but there's 8 in this one. And they're being led out by Alex Clark from Dulwich in lane 4. He does have the fastest entry time, but do you know what? There's nothing in it. 16:38 is his entry time, so that's just a little bit slower than we saw from Sam Ruff. So it just goes to show that, but it depends on how you swim it, doesn't it?
I remember we saw some fantastic swims from Alex Clark in both national age groups and the Scottish Summer Meet when he was up against a titanic struggle in both of them against Conor Aspinall. At that time swimming for East Lothian now with Warrender, and it's 1-1 in that fight. Conor is not swimming in this 1500 freestyle, so yes he is, he's in the next heat, so we'll keep an eye on that as well with Alex Clark from Singapore, 59.71. Dulwich College, the Singapore-based program. So he's going in lane 4. Next to him in lane 7, Harry Whitfield of Darlington, and also lane 5 is up there. And that is Michael O'Neill of the Borough of Stockton, and lane 6 also in the mix, Kyle Connolly from South Lanarkshire. So we saw Kai Connolly earlier, and now we've got Kyle going in this one. Lane 2 as well, Innes Gow in the mix, but it's Alex Clark by 4/10 at the 150, 32.7, but well, it's too early to call this one at this stage. We've got 6 swimmers within a couple of meters of each other as they head down towards the 200.
Yeah, so it was Tom Holt, wasn't it, that led them out in this in the previous race, and he was out there in 2:06, so there's not a lot really to choose. It's not massively faster than the previous heat, but then they took off masses of time, didn't they? So 2:05.40 after 200 metres, but as you say, way too early to call. But it is lane 4.
Yeah, Alex got a very nice, comfortable cadence to his swim there. It's a bit of a faster cadence in lane 6 there from Kyle, but not too much separating them, 1700s. And in the red cap, Harry Whitfield. So form guide here. Talked about Alex Clark in the Scottish meets, national age group champion, 2nd in the Scottish summer meet. Kyle Connolly, he did his time at Bells Hill recently, 16:40, winner in the West District short course, 4th in national age groups as a 16-year-old, so same age group as Alex Clark, so he was behind Alex up in Aberdeen at national age groups, but I think he's ahead of him now, 3:11.20 against 3:11.48, so Kyle attacking this one, Harry Whitfield doing his best to go with him, and we've got 2 swimmers, lane 2 and lane 5, just behind the leading 3, and that's Innes Gow and Michael O'Neill.
Yeah, so it was interesting actually. I mean, it's great that we've got so many young swimmers that are contesting this and contesting it well. But I was just there looking at the Scottish junior record, and I mean, I know that the boys that we've just seen swim have got a long time before they're at that age where they might be contesting for that 15-18.
Yeah, I mean,
I know,
that's
yeah,
a very
I know.
old time, isn't Graham Smith? But
Yeah.
he was a fantastic distance freestyler, one of the greats of Scottish swimming, life on the Hall of Fame.
But something to aim for nonetheless, and like I say, there is a whole pile of these young men now, which is really hopeful for that. So 4:17.33. So the hundreds are coming in around and about 1:06, which we'll see obviously everybody coming in faster than we saw in the previous heat if it can be maintained. Coming up alongside him now in the red cap alongside Kyle is Harry Whitfield from Darlington, and these two side by side.
Yes, so 33.1s for both of them, 33.6 for Alex, so he's just dropped back a little bit. A couple of meters back on now Kyle and Harry. So we'll see how these swimmers develop. Harry did his time 16:42, 6th junior at North East Short Course. Swam this at the Swim England Summer Meet. It's a top 10 finish there, 8th place. So half a second between the two. Kyle still the advantage. And pushing it on, trying to just build up a little bit of a buffer. Starting to make a move in lane 5 is Michael O'Neill, the 16-year-old from Borough of Stockton. He was 5th, just ahead of Harry in the North East Short Course event. That was 5th junior. So he will have his eye, I think, on his North East of England rival. He's gone past Alex Clark now into 3rd place. So Kyle Connolly leads the way. Still only, well, less than a metre, I would say.
Yeah, but that was a very noticeable move there, wasn't it, from Michael O'Neill? You just saw him kicking just that a bit harder, pulling just that a bit harder. You can see a bit more splash. It's obviously under instructional, that's his race plan, is to go through there. And he did a good job there. So 6:29.6. So still in the low 106s for each of the 100s, which would see them finishing around and about 16:24 or thereabout, 16:20, 16:25, around about there, if they can keep the pace going. And from entry times of 16:38, that would be pretty impressive. But it's actually tightening up, isn't it, at the front?
Yeah, just 100th in it now, with 33.1 there and a 33.0 from Michael. So, well, the three of them in a line. Alex Clark doing his best to stay close to them in lane 4, but at the moment it's lanes 5, 6 and 7, and I think we've got a new leader now. Harry just edging into the lead in lane 7. Let's just check that out at this turn. Well, not a lot in it, but it is Harry by a quarter of a second.
And Harry, the youngest swimmer in the water, just 15 this year. That's not to say that the others are getting on, you know, they're like 16 and 17, but
ancient.
Yeah, I know. He is the youngest in the pool, and he's just edged himself out in front there. And that's at the halfway mark, so I wonder what the race strategies are of these swimmers, because they will have them. But, still Kyle Connolly. He's not given up that lead yet. There's 0.2 of a second between Harry Whitfield and Kyle Connolly, and Michael Clark is really very close behind them.
It's always wonder about race strategies, because obviously you go in with a race strategy, this is how you want to do it, but inevitably you're going to react to what's going on around you, and you maybe have to adjust that strategy. And sometimes you'd say, no, somebody's going out, but they won't be able to sustain it, so I'll stick to my plan. Other times you'll say, No, they're going out and they're looking strong, so I need to try and follow them. So let's see how this one works out. But certainly Harry Whitfield now is making a bit of a statement. He's opened up half a second gap on Kyle, but Kyle is hanging in there. And then, well, Michael and Alex, third and fourth. And then also just keep a mention there on lane 2, that is Iniscal. We'll see whether he can force himself into contention in the second half here. But, well, at the moment it's looking like a lane 7, lane 6 contest. See both on 32.9s, 8 tenths faster than Michael and 7 tenths faster than Alex on that last 50.
Yeah, so in fact I was going to comment that I didn't think that Harry Whitfield had increased the pace, and in fact it was Kyle who had just dropped back a little bit, and then of course they throw in those high 32s and you think, well no, actually they have increased the pace, and they have both done that. So it was 106.4 for the last 100, 9:49.04 sees. Again, it's around and about 106 and a bit. So they have maintained the pace really, really well.
Fastest 50 on that one was actually Alex Clark in 4th place. See, of course, was the early leader, but he's a fair way back on our leading 2 now. But we'll see whether he can up the pace in the last few hundreds. So still the leading 2 very close together, 5:50 to go, and less than half a second between them. Alex Clark there 33.5, so that time 3 tenths behind the time from the front 2. So, but he is definitely coming back at Michael O'Neill for 3rd place. But you think this is a Harry Kyle contest?
It is a Harry Kyle contest. I think, they didn't come in on the fastest times, but Darlington, South Lanarkshire, was a nice little contest. I mean, they played the first half of the race completely differently, didn't they? But you can see that Alex Clark is visibly coming back now.
Yeah, so he's pretty much alongside Michael O'Neill now. So we've got a race for the lead, a race for 3rd, around about 8 metres back on the leading 2. Harry still just about got his nose in front. So 11.28 at 10.50. So 33.1 and a 33.0. Alex has now moved into 3rd, a 33.0 from him as well, and a 34 point for Michael. So maybe just finding it a bit tough at the moment. Well, I've enjoyed the first heat, enjoyed this one as well.
I love the way that they're looking at each other when they're going towards the start end. Yeah. That's going to really be an interesting final 25.
Give him the evil eye.
12.01.80.
Yeah, so 33.11, 33.12. There, Alex Clark, slightly faster, 32.99. It'll need to pick up more than a tenth for 50, though, if he is to get back to the swimmers in front of him. I wouldn't completely discount him just at this stage. See, he's about 6 metres back. I think he's made up a metre or 2 on the front 2. So we'll keep an eye on his splits versus the 2 at the front. Harry just edging a little bit more, well, 300ths more. That's about half a second, and this time they are holding their own against Alex Clark. So, what we did say earlier, it's a Harry Kyle contest, and I don't think at the moment got any reason to change our mind about that.
So if we compare it to the heat that we saw last, it's only about 8 seconds faster. I mean, they did swim out their skins, didn't they? And they had a good race on, but it's only about 8 seconds faster, 13:07.78.
So 300 to go, upping their pace under 33s for that last 50, both of them. So, yeah, they will be thinking through now, what do I need to do to break the spirit of the other one? They'll both be thinking that. Neither of them at the moment showing any signs that they are getting away or falling back. Let's see what the intermediate splits are here. And again, well, exactly the same, 32.89. Wow. 33.1 for Alex, so he's dropped another couple of tenths on the leading two.
Well, that last 100 was the first time we've dipped underneath 106 for 100 since 200 metres, so they have turned the pace on. Who can stick it up?
Well, he may be just opening a bit more of a gap there. I think he has picked up maybe half a metre on that last 50. Let's see, is he 32.5? Yes, he has 4 tenths of a build up on the advantage, so the pressure now onto Kyle to try and stay with him. Can he do it? We are very much at the sharp end now, and this is where we see what they're made of. I think we're going to see good improvements on both of them on their entry times, but this is a race, and who is going to take the honours in the race? 150 to go, and now nearly a second and a half the gap. Another half second for Harry there, and he certainly has made his move, and I'm not sure Kyle has it in him to go with him.
Do you know what? There's neither of them kicking that hard, is there? I wonder what they've got over the final 100 metres.
We'll find out soon.
Well, it will be only 100 metres to go at the next turn.
32.8 there for Harry, 33.8 for Kyle. So I think as a race, this is done now. So 100 to go. So another, maybe a 32 and a 31 perhaps to finish for Harry. See if he can do something like that. He's going to come in around the 15.50 mark with 50 to go, just over 15.50, 56. So we're looking, well, that was a 32.0, so pretty good from him. So just a reminder, his entry time done recently at Northeast Short Course 16.42. So he's going to be inside there. This has been excellent. He was under a lot of pressure from Carl Connolly for a long time, but in the end he's pulled away, and this is a big improvement. 16.20, finishing on a 30 point. He'll be happy with that, to finish that at the end of a grueling race. Kyle 16.27.90, great swim from him. That's a 13-second improvement. Alex Clark 16.31.32, that's a 7-second improvement. Close for fourth. Michael O'Neill just holding off from Keir Stormont, who finished very strongly there, 31.8 to finish. In Scow as well, 31.7 on his final 50. So some good swims there all around, but, well, Harry Whitfield takes the prize, 16.20.75.
Yes, well done, Harry. You couldn't have predicted that is what was going to happen. Oh, well, not for us anyway. Kyle Connolly, well, when he nudged through into the front, we didn't think that he was going to be caught and passed, did we? And all credit to him as well. He hung on there for as long as he could. 16.27.90 is a good improvement for him. But Harry Whitfield, well, on the day,
it takes.
So this is our final heat, and you mentioned Connor Aspinall earlier, and the competition there. So it'll be interesting to see what Connor Aspinall actually does in the race.
Yep,
so another
16-year-old.
Another full set of swimmers, although I'm not sure I can see anybody in lane one.
Yeah, it looks like lane one, Finn Proud is missing. So, assuming that is true, the lineup will be Connor Aspinall of Borender in lane two, Sam Wright of Tadcaster in three, Aidan Anderson, just 15 years old, in lane four. No, is he there? No, he's not there. So no lane four either. Matthew Sars of Wigan Best in lane five. 6 is Aaron McGee, City of Sunderland. Then we've also got an empty lane in lane 7. Archie Maguire goes for City of Sunderland, just 14 years old, in lane 8. So 14-year-old Archie is the youngest. Aaron McGee, 15-year-old. 3 16-year-olds and 1 17-year-old. 2 16-year-olds. 3 empty lanes. So early leader, Matthew Soares of Wigan. Scott based in the Northwest. Member of the Youth Academy, was 7th in the Aquatics GB Next Gen Championships. He's up by a body length early on here. He's going to be under the minute for his opening 100. So he's setting the pace here. Sam Wright also under the minute, 59.7. Aaron McGee, Connor Aspinall, both just over the minute, as is Archie Maguire. So just the 5 swimmers here, spread around the pool. But Matthew Soares certainly opening up pretty strongly here in lane 5. So Matthew, mentioned Youth Academy member, 16-year-old, goes through 1:30.32, a 31.6 for him, 31.8 for Sam, 31.6 for Connor. So that's your top 3. As they go through the 150, 1/10th distance.
And already it looks very different from the previous race, doesn't it, where everything was so tight, but then of course there were 3 more swimmers in the water as well. We're losing 3 and ended up with just the 5 there, particularly the swimmers in the more central lanes. It certainly does make a difference. 2:02.15, where obviously it's too soon to make any comparisons, but that's just over 3 seconds faster than the previous heat. But we had some great racing in that. Let's see if we can get some great racing in this one as well. So it's Matthew Soares, Wigan best, 16 years old, 16:12.50 is his entry time.
We also had a little question about who's going to be the junior champion here, because the only 16-year-old scheduled to go in the final heat is not a Scot. So we've got Matthew Soares is a Scot here. So the 16-year-olds is Connor Aspinall. So you would think it would be between these two as to who is the junior champion. Connor was the 800 freestyle junior champion, but at the moment, well, he's in second and Matthew ahead of him. But Connor at 31.6 there, 4/10 faster than Matthew on that last 50. So he's got the gap down to just a second and a half now. Sam Wright just behind Connor in lane 3. So that's well, Matthew went out fast early on, but is Connor reeling him in? Looks like he is. So let's see, as we come to 300 metres, or 350 metres rather, 31.8, another 3/10 picked up by Connor. So he's now just 1.1 back. 3:40 for Sam. So there are leading 3 now, and these 3 now have opened up a big gap on the other 2. The red caps, lane 8, Archie Maguire, and his teammate from Sunderland, Aaron McGee, in 6. So there is a junior medal at stake here at the front of the swamp, and now the gap is just 8/10. Connor has just moved programs from East Lothian to Warrender Bass. Of course, a very strong group of swimmers at Warrender in his age group. Perhaps more so than was the case in his former program. He will be looking to show the benefits of that move here. Also had a strong open water season in the summer. Let's see there. Well, pretty much the same split there, 31.9s for both of them, so the gap stayed at around about a second there. Matthew is breathing over towards Connor, so he will be aware of Connor, I'm sure. We'll see him 3 lanes away. And it remains about a body length up. In fact, maybe is he picking up a bit more now? Just getting away from Connor. Connor might have used up quite a lot of energy to try and close the gap. Yep, so Matthew 3/10 faster there. So has taken the lead up to about 1.25 seconds. Still early in the race though.
Yeah, we are 1/3 through. So it'll be interesting to see what their respective plans are. They swim in a relatively similar way, although I think Connor is a bit more conservative. So energy, there's a bit less splash and a bit less waving around. He looks very symmetrical and smooth, does Connor. But the lead has grown. They're repping about 1:04 or thereabouts, and fairly consistently as well. 6:18.29.
Yeah, so that's another 4/10 for Matthew in that last 50. So he's got the lead up to him at 1.7 now. And well, still sticking around in lane 3 is Sam Wright, 17-year-old from Tadcaster. So we'll keep an eye on him as well. At the moment, about 4 meters behind Connor Aspinall. So next turn is 650 meters, a 650 and a 652. So again, 4/10 advantage to Matthew Soares. So he is gradually building that lead up again now. After briefly Connor was clawing it back, not now.
And I was just going to say, we've not seen much activity from the coaching staff of Warrender over on the far side, but just as he came out of the 750 mark, there was a bit of waving and a bit of hollering, but it may well be that that's just to remind him that that's the halfway mark done. So it'll be interesting to see if Connor Aspinall turns it on after that. But well, do you know, it's still anybody's race really, isn't it?
Yeah, you certainly couldn't call it at this stage, and also you need to keep your eye on Sam Wright as well, I think, here in lane 3, because I think, well, is he catching Connor a little bit? I think he might be. We'll just check their splits as they come up to this next turn, halfway mark, 7:55, so a 32.4 for Matthew, a 32.8 for Connor, and a 32.9 for Sam. So no, at the moment, Connor just slightly faster than Sam. But again, about 4/10 slower than Matthew, so Matthew is just gradually building up this lead, little by little, with every lap. So into the second half, this is 800 meters, 8:27, 32.1 there. Yeah, so we passed the point of no return. We must be getting close to it, I think, now, unless there is a real problem for Matthew in the last stage, and it's certainly not looking that that's likely to happen. I think he knows what he's doing here in lane 5. So the 32.0 for Matthew. 32.7 for Connor, 32.4 for Sam. So Sam has picked up a bit there on Connor. So that could be where the race is going to be for second place here. But that junior medal at the moment is within sight for Matthew Soares, the Scot based in Wigan. So his lead now about 6-7 meters, 32.1. There, 9:31 at 900 against 9:36, so 5 seconds the gap now, and that is increasing with every lap. And I think certainly Sam Wright is starting to nibble away at Connor Aspinall here. Not quite on his toes yet, but not too far away. So just over the 10 minutes. At 9:50. Yeah,
I think that gap between second and third, it does look to be shrinking, doesn't it? I thought at first it was like an optical illusion because we were seeing Matthew Sawyers go further ahead, but I think that the gap is starting to shrink.
Sam got 2/10 on Connor in that last 50. Whether that will be enough, I'm not sure. 32.3s. Is Matthew's pace pretty consistent? I think it is it?
Yes.
Thought it was.
yes. It's around. It's anywhere between 1 minute 4 and 1 minute 4.5, and it has indeed been pretty consistent. And his lead, well, now it's 15 meters, 16 or 17 meters even.
And Sam Wright now is definitely closing in on Connor Aspinall. So that gap is shrinking pretty fast now. Seeing a 33.2 against 31.9, so 1.3 picked up by Sam there. And he's now just a metre or so behind Connor. So that's where the contest is. Connor will have to find something extra, you would think, if he's to hold on to second spot here.
I mean, it could push them both on to better things, but the momentum definitely with Sam Wright just now. 11:40.78, and that is at the 1100 metres mark, so 400 metres to go. And if he pushes on, we could see Matthew Sawyers coming in underneath the 16-minute mark, which would be a great achievement.
Yeah, we certainly feel something getting into the 15 minutes is a good milestone for a 1500 swimmer. And then, of course, the next target is to get down to 15 minutes, but, well, that's a big push. Not too many can do that.
No, although you were telling me that down at the Swim England meet that one of our young stars has been pushing it on and went under the 15-minute mark last night.
Luke Hornsey, a former teammate in East Lothian of Connor Aspinall's. Been at Edinburgh University for a while, now gone down to Loughborough. But, well, this is very much the Wigan man, Matthew. And it is Sam now has gone past Connor Aspinall into second place. So Matthew, 32.3 there. So 300 to go now. Sam Wright now has a body length advantage over Connor Aspinall.
Pace dropped just a bit, and I think he's going to have to push it on if he wants to get underneath the 16-minute mark. He was well under it in terms of pace, around and about 800 metres, but just drifting towards that 16-minute mark. Now, I'm not saying outside it, but 15:59.94 is pretty close, isn't it, if we were to make an estimate.
That's a very precise estimate there, 15:59.94. Let's see how that works out.
Yes. But just under 16 minutes then.
Yeah, let's go for that, yeah. Hopefully he can get under the 16 minutes. Certainly like to see that.
But it might be close.
It's only been a push, a nice push. So 200 to go, 13:50, 32.5. So you do the maths and you see you get very close to 16 minutes, and with a sprint at the end, hopefully he can duck under it. He's certainly looking still pretty strong, and now he's got somebody to have a go at to lap there in lane number 6. Aaron McGee is in danger of getting lapped, and that will give Matthew a target. So a 32.3 there, so inside that 32.5 that time.
And Sam Wright has continued to push on ahead of Connor Aspinall there, the Tadcaster swimmer. His advantage now is, well, just over 5 metres over Connor Aspinall. He's going to have to settle for third, I think, in this heat.
His entry time, 16:16 for Sam, 16:31 for Connor, so we'll see how they do against those times. Meanwhile, 100 to go, 14:55, so can we get under a 105 for this final 100? I think we can. Come on, Matthew, you could do this. 75 metres to go. He's now alongside to Aaron McGee. Just goes past him. He'll get the bell. That will spur him on at this turn. Let's see what the time is as he gets the bell. 15:27. So yes, he needs to be under 33. It was a 32 for that penultimate split. I think he's going to be 30 or 31 on this final one. So this is looking good to duck under 16 minutes here. Final turn for Matthew. Real push now down this final length. Here he comes, 15 to go. Clock just into the 15:50s. So Matthew Soares is going to go under the 16 minutes. He will be the Scottish Junior Champion, 15:57.19. Take a bow, Matthew Soares. Here comes second place Sam Wright. So his entry time 16:16. He'll be inside that 16:07. Connor 16:31 entry time, so he improves on that to 16:13. So you can't be disappointed with that. That's a good improvement of 17 seconds. So, you know, we were judging against the two faster swimmers, but that's a nice PB from all of our top three there. Here comes fourth place Aaron McGee, 16:32, just outside his entry time. And Archie Maguire not quite matching his entry time at 16:45. But Matthew Soares, very well done. He will be the Scottish Junior Champion with that time of 15:57.19.
Well, those went quite quickly, didn't they, in the end?
Well, they were fun. Each of those were good fun, good competitive 1500s. So a nice way. I do enjoy a good competitive 1500. We had 3 of them there, so I hope you enjoyed it too. That concludes. We'll be back at 5:25 for our second night of finals. Thank you, Lynn, for your company this afternoon.
Thank you, Duncan. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Looking forward to this evening.
For now, we'll wish you a good afternoon.